Oh, look, it's a cat who is not the focus of today's stream. Oh, frick, I meant to do like a nice little camera zoom. Oopsies. Let me get back on the poll. Hello. My dashboard is not updated yet. Hopefully the stream is functioning. And today we're doing this. I have not done any, like, you know, looking at people's profiles for characters, right? These. And just reviewing people's characters for a long time. The reason for that is the more I played Genshin, the more, like, dumb I think it is to, like, judge any particular character when you don't know, like, you know, how that person plays the game. And you don't know how much they care about, you know, doing insert thing here or whatever, right? So I think it's just, like, it's not very useful as a form of content. But as a form of, like, engaging with people live, I do think it is enjoyable. So, you know, it's, well, okay, enjoyable for, I think, viewers. It's actually slightly stressful for me to do, particularly because I again, I've not set up anything. Hello. I have not set up anything for, like, I'm not going to do anything pure random. I'm just going to be, like, picking out people from chat. So, like, the process of this stream is going... Can I get up the poll? The process of the stream is going to be me just watching the chat, and, you know, someone's like, I have a DPS Kiwawa, and I'm just going to be like, well, I just made a DPS Kiwawa video. I really like DPS Kiwawa. So, of course, I'm going to go review a DPS cat kind of thing, right? Anything that catches my attention in the chat, I'm going to try to look at. The struggle here, so the two methods we're going to have, like, whoops, if you are an NA, so if your UIDs begin with 6, I'll just be able to look at it in-game by searching your UID. Or, and you have to make sure your that profile is visible. I also have Enka, or not just me, anyone has Enka.network, this website. You can't see my, oh, there we go, there's my mouse. I can just type in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? Type in UID here, and then, can you shush, cat? And then yeah, that's it. It's pretty simple. Like, we're just gonna look at characters. I did actually put accounts, I think, in the title, which, now that I think about it, I should probably remove accounts in the title. In the future, what I think I would prefer to do instead of this format is a more high effort format for these things, where I'm doing, like, my account fixing thing, but in a live stream format, where I, like, have, say, I don't know, 5-ish accounts prepared ahead of time, and then I spend specifically 30 minutes on each of those accounts live, right? But that takes so much more prep ahead of time. This is meant to be just a casual, silly little thing, right? So, anywho's, there's going to be a little bit of a struggle here for how YouTube works in comments. Like, if you just try to post your UID, first of all, like, just posting your UID is not going to make me choose you specifically. Like, you're going to have to be like, review my Raiden because whatever, and then try to put your UID in that comment. From what I understand, YouTube is generally lets comments come through with, like, UIDs with a bunch of numbers in them, if it's, like, in conjunction with an actual comment, not just the numbers on its own, right? But I don't know for sure. It's going to be annoying if your message doesn't pop up. Like, then just try to, like, break up the UID and with spaces or whatever. I don't know, man. We'll see how it works. Yeah, see, like, Alex Proust was able to do it right there, right? From what I've seen, it's like, if you do just numbers, if you just type in your UID, you know, the 645-218-216, that's not blocked because of mine. It's me. But if you just do that, it'll probably block your comment, right? So, you get the point, right? Do words with it and be like, you know, yeah, review my DPS Barbara main, and then put your UID with it, and then I might check it out, right? I'm gonna try not to spend too long on any individual character, but you know me, I might ramble and rant for a while. So, if I only get through two character reviews this stream, that just means I like your character build so much that it made me rant for 2 hours. So, anywho's, did I condense my resin? Because I'm not, well, I might use my resin, I don't know. Yeah, no, oh Jesus, I already have 150 views. I was gonna say maybe I'll let more viewers join. No, I don't need to let more viewers join. There's enough of you. So, any other qualifiers? No, of course not. I mean, I'll look at whatever your AR is, because I'm not going to be like, why don't you have 7,000 ER on your whatever, when you're AR 30, like, duh. So, yeah, anywho's, and keep in mind, I'm going to be making generalizations here. I don't know the specific teams. There might be a little bit of back and forth, to be clear, with you in chat. That's why I think it's valuable to do this live. And, you know, seeing, oh, okay, you use Xiao in triple Animo Faruzan Cloud Retainer Xiao team. Yeah, you probably don't need much energy, right? But if you're using Xiao without, you know, doing that, then you might want some energy recharge kind of thing, right? That affects things. Anywho's, let's just get started. We're gonna plop the cat right on the chair here so that she shushes. Let me take a drink of water and then okay, who do I want to do? I mean, yeah, we could start with someone boring, but I can tell you I definitely am more inclined towards reviewing or picking out ones that are more interesting rather than just like typical characters. But I might do typical characters just to like spice it up. But if I review a normal build, like you know, just a normal Raiden build, not a hybrid Raiden build. If you have hybrid Raiden, I absolutely want to see it. But if you're just like, review my normal Raiden, if I become slightly more of a butthole, it's mostly just going to be in a humorous manner, right? Mostly because it's like, you know, the higher investment you go into a character, the harder I'm going to be on them just for the funniness, right? Because it's like, there's not much to judge when you just have a really invested build other than just being like, nitpicky, right? Anywho's. Hyper Raiden, that's not Hybrid Raiden, you're trying to trick me. So do I start with DPS Barbara? I want to start with DPS Barbara. DPS Barbara is something I should come back to, honestly. I think DPS Barbara, like forward vape DPS Barbara, seems more fun than Mualani right now. Well, okay, it depends on what her nerfs are tomorrow. That supposedly might be happening. But let's do Barbara. I'm actually interested in looking at a Barbara here quick. She should be someone that doesn't take too long, I think. So, blam. Also, if you're... Why? Okay, did I haven't done this in a while. Do I have to do it? Oh, you know what? I think I have to do it through the friends menu because the game is dumb. Yeah, and then yeah, stupid. Okay, level 80, AR 50. Okay, AR 50, again, like, they might be AR 50 and, like, they just are squatting all their XP at AR 50, but most likely, thank you, Barbara, immediately. Most likely they're just not, they haven't been playing that long, right? We got a Widzit. Yeah, they have an R1 Widzit. This is a slightly newer player, right? So I'm not going to be a butthole, be like, why don't you have 40 CV? Like why isn't, actually, this is a pretty good piece for freaking AR-50. Like, why isn't this leveled up to 20? I mean, you do want to level it to 20. Hopefully it gets another crit rate roll for you, or crit damage roll. So anyways, DPS Barbara, you seem to know what you're doing, Barbara main, actually, because you got Widzit. As far as like AR-50, you got two-piece. I assume you're doing a forward vape Barbs, and got a decent bit of crit rate, a little bit of ER. You don't need ER for DPS Barbara, to be clear. One of the interesting things with DPS Barbara is you can do 4-piece Shimenawas, assuming you don't care about bursting with the healing, because you're basically never going to burst with Shimenawas. So, anywho's, yep, this looks like a charge attack, forward vape, DPS Barbara. A little bit lower investment, obviously, and pretty decent. Also, well, I mean, hey, ER is nice, probably not ideal for a Barbara, realistically, but you know, you get what you take what you can get when it comes to early game investment. This is pretty nice for Artifact. I also I appreciate how you're being smart, by the way. You haven't you leveled some things at 20, obviously, because, you know, getting the crit rate is really nice. Like, that's one of your priority pieces to level up, is having the correct main stat early on, right? But you've been smart with, like, not leveling. I assume what you were approaching is you were leveling them piecemeal, or not leveling this any further because, like, the XP it costs to level this for the value it gives is relatively low. If you are doing DPS Barbara, of course, you probably do want a Hydro Damage Goblet, by the way. A HP, she does not have HP scaling damage. As far as I recall, she has nothing, literally nothing that makes her damage go higher with HP. So, yeah. I think you probably know that, though, is my guess. Actually, maybe you don't. I think about it. I just realized this was an HP. I don't know why I thought it was attack. That was my bad. I should double. Why can't I view the talents in this screen? Okay. Let me double check. Let me double check. Just in case. It's been a while since I looked at Barbara's kit. Just in case. I don't think Barbara has HP scaling at all, even in her passives or anything, right? There might be some value. If there is some passives that give her like damage bonus for her HP, why am I struggling so much? There's too many characters in this game. To be clear, I love it. It's the benefit of this game. It's just like ridiculous, but also there she is. Talents. No, that's just stamina consumption reduction. That's, yeah, a weird duration thing for her skill. Wonderful passive. So, yeah, she doesn't have any scaling, right? HP scaling damage. Her healing is HP scaling. So if you're trying to do DPS Barbara, right, you had the idea, right, with the talents being leveled up, but this percentage here saying nothing, it doesn't say HP on it, right? If it doesn't say anything on it, it should be attack scaling. I think they are 100% consistent with that in the scalings of the skill attribute screen, where if it says a percentage without anything attached to it, it is attack scaling. So Barbara's damage comes from her attack, which means you are sacrificing healing for being able to do damage on her. So yeah, that would be the main advice, but honestly, for the level you're at, it's not necessarily that much of a problem. Just don't expect her to be able to, you know, carry it through Abyss. Alright, which server are you doing? We're doing kind of anything. It's not C6 Barbara. Yeah, I mean, that wasn't C6 Barbara because they were AR-50. They were definitely an earlier game player. Having trash builds at AR-52 normal. I mean, it's not that abnormal. Like, you can know very little about the game. I didn't realize it was HP main stat at first because I'm dumb. But, you know. Okay, Jesus Christ, there's so many. This is this is why these streams are so stressful to do. Just people spamming their UIDs. Oh, good God. Oh, good God. Okay, I haven't done this since I had like 15,000 subscribers. The chat is actually moving too fast. Like, it's hard to even like copy out a UID. Like, do I need to slow mode this? Give me a second. I don't know. I'm not used to having to modify. Does YouTube chat not have a slow mode? Oh God. Oh, Sylvian did it. Yay. Thank you. I assume that's Sylvian. Alright. I don't think that helped, but it's fine. DPS Faruzan. Fab Furina. You know what? Fine. We're gonna do a normal here, a normally thing here. Let's make sure Enka works. Fab Furina is not that interesting because it's just a Furina build. But you know what? I will do it anyways because I like Furina. Oh my God! Get it out of my sight. What is this monster of a Furina? To be clear, I prefer more ER than this. Like, you can definitely get away with this low ER on a Fab Furina. I definitely prefer more ER than this, but this is a monster of a Furina. Get it out of my sight. What is this disgusting creature? Yep. Disgusting. That's why I did that, because it would be fast. Okay. Read your bio. You know, that's oh my God, it's so hard. It's so hard. There we go. It's hard to even copy things. Alright. Read this person's bio. See, that's a hook if I've ever seen one. Your bio better be worth it. Best Cyno build. Okay, that bio wasn't that interesting. No offense. This is a pretty good Cyno. Yeah. I think my polearms only Cyno might be slightly better. It has less EM, to be clear, but more ER. It's hyper flexible with rotation. This is a very, very strong sign. Oh, it's not Thundering Fury. I just realized. I just assumed it was Thundering Fury. Alright. KQM. Cyno. Some people still don't believe this. Right? Thundering... Like, I don't mean to, like, invalidate... Like, to be clear, Gilded Dreams is very good. But, like, Thundering Fury, if you really Cyno, I think it actually makes him really engaging to play. Do they not have their calcs linked here? Normally they have, like, calcs linked somewhere or something. I don't know. It's not that important. Like Thundering Fury, it good. So, anywho's. So, I'm just saying, if you're saying you have the best Cyno build, and it's a Gilded Dreams build, it's just like, you know, it's a very, very good Cyno build. I do not think it's necessarily worth farming more for him. But, you know, we're nitpicking because that's what we do with nitpicking when it comes to really high investment builds, okay? Anywho's. Vape DPS Nilu. Oh, you know what? Yes, let's do Vape DPS Nilu because I just did Vape Nilu. Let's look at how like there's different approaches for doing Vape Nilu, right? Like how I did with Key of Conscious Suit with weird hybrid-ish kind of build. But it's not really a hybrid because that implies you're doing Bloom. So whatever. What about gotta go here. It's going to be a long time before you finish the stream. Oh, I should mention, I have a cutoff for the stream, which is about 3 hours. Because I plan to play Elden Ring with my friends, and this stream will go on forever if I don't have a cutoff for it. So, anywho's, Nilu. You have the skin, nice. We have Furina Stick. I actually intended to, I haven't done it yet, but I have been intending to test out Furina's weapon on Vape Nilu. It should be obviously pretty good, like when you're using Furina with her. Or sorry, not with Vape Nilu. I was going to say with Monohydro Nilu. If you're using this on Nilu, it's presuming, you know, the two ways to use this is potentially burning, right? Burning self-damage can trigger this consistently, the same as Marche, or Furina herself. If you're using Furina, a second Hydrant in the team, it's going to be very, very hard to consistently trigger Vapes on Nilu, right? Like, so it's just, you know, but Monohydro Nilu, like there's some people that like doing that, and that can be a much simpler way to play. You know, just doing Furina, Nilu, Kazuha, who the frick is the other one? I don't know, whatever, Yelan. Does Yelan, I don't know, does Yelan's normal attack thing? Cat, are you okay? He's scratching the bedpost, you probably can't hear it. What was I saying? Yeah, anywho's, point is, this weapon, no worky, but I also, no worky if you don't use Furina or her burning shenanigans. It might work perfectly fine if you're doing like the team that I was using where you would trigger the passive, right? So that's very good. That is a bit relatable, but you know, that as far as like stat value goes, 1 lucky 777, not that relevant, but 3 high EM rolls and 2 crit damage rolls, this is not that bad. If it's not as bad as many people would think it is if you're undervaluing the EM value. And it depends on what like EM buffs you have on the team, etc., whatever. Okay, this is again, it has high stat value, but like, okay, the problem is like the more weird pieces you have, the less ideal one weird piece or any individual one is, right? Like having one piece like this, but then having a good like high CV goblet is good. That's a good circlet, and that is really, this is weird. You have a really interesting build that has a lot of relevant stats that I think comes together, and especially because like, you know, this kind of carries you. Although wait, for some reason my brain saw a low crit rate and I was like, you have Marcia say hunters, it's fine. No, this is actually not ideal. You need, like, if you're fine with critting once in every century, you know. So, you know, with Marcia say, it's more than fine. It'd be more than fine. But, you know, you're going to want a more crit rate than that. Is this with a crit rate circlet? It is. Oh, God. Yeah. I think in your case, Right, especially if you're using Furina, the easiest way to get good damage out of Nilou for you will be, I think your Nilou is also level 80, right? And I didn't look at what era you were. Oh, you're 60. Oh, okay, so you probably just got Nilou too, potentially. She's an HP skiller, right? So regardless if you're doing Vape or Mono Hydra, you want to level her to 90 if you want to max out her personal damage contribution, her talent damage. Also, her normal attack down is literally pointless. Just an FYI, you don't need to spend anything else in that. It's literally pointless. It doesn't do anything unless you're doing weird shenanigans with like C6 Bennett or which you can do, or maybe Candace, I guess. But like, it's still attack scaling. Like, no, don't do it. It's basically useless. So, anywho's, yeah, if you want my advice, it might be worth it for you to farm Marsh, say Hunter set for her. You might already have some. I don't know. Looks like you like to farm a lot of. You farm this, which makes sense for AR. It can make a lot more sense to farm this at AR 60, right? But, anywho's, you know, you might be served well by doing Marshes. But if you're happy with just critting 40% of the time and whatever, you know, don't let me stop you. I'm not saying you have to farm more. It can be misery to farm in this game. Let's do a non. I want to review a non-crit one, quick, because it should be easy. Oh my god. Help fix your Neuvillette. I'm not actually going to be fixing things. It's going to be very quick things here. An Asia account. You know what? I'm going to review this Asia one. Reason being, because I know that for people in Asia right now, it's late. It's like in the middle of the night. So, you know what? I don't even know what I'm reviewing, but it's a mystery. It's a mystery we're going to find out. Just Asia. Alright, a Neuvillette on Lost Prayers. Interesting. Depending on what other artifacts you have, it's possible you might be served better with other weapons. Like I do unironically think a prototype Ember at high investment levels has the ability to beat Lost Prayers or get close. I'm not sure exactly. Like, it's pretty competitive. And it turns Neuvillette into your team's healer, which I think is really cool. But you know, Lost Prayers it's just an interesting option for him. It's not bad. You have a good build going here. You didn't skip on ER. Zafrina fishing pole build. I mean, with double Hydra, this is fine. I can't say I like playing double Hydra Furina very often, other than with Siegewein, and even with double Hydra, I still prefer XS because Furina's #1 priority is to burst. Always. Every time. And like, I oftentimes like bursting early on Furina with like restarting a rotation kind of early. Like, you know, I vastly prefer XS on Furina, even when I'm been doing double Hydra things more lately with Siegewein. With the Siegewein Furina combo, but you know, if you only ever use Furina in one team that always gets her burst back anyways, and that's, you know, that's not how I like using Furina. She's an ungodly versatile character that I want to have a versatile build on, so that's not my preference, but this is definitely a good, pretty balanced Furina build otherwise. Layla, nice, respectable Layla build, nothing crazy. I assume this is, yeah, it's a shielding build. And I assume this is a really good Jean build, I think. Well, Sack Sword is not exactly ideal, actually. Jean's healing does skill on attack. You're doing ER attack healing bonus. In some teams you might be able to get away with an attack percent piece, but you have so much attack percent in your ER piece, I don't think it really matters. So really the main thing you could do is you serve better by a different weapon. Like your build actually, instead of like switching any of your artifacts around, you might be served pretty well by doing an Amainoma gene. So let me show my Amainoma gene. Not that you need refinements, to be clear, but because I was like, sweet, Gene is great with Furina, I decided to use 5 freaking billets back when Furina released and get R5 Amainoma. I think it looks great. I think it's one of my favorite looking swords in the game. Hope Money Talks XT. Okay, I'll do yours. Sure. Sure, Vicky. I have no idea what HUF 1000 is. But yeah, I guess if people pay, I will. I'm not going to be a dick and say, no, I'm not going to review your things after you pay. So, oh god, I just lost it. Oh, it just, like, got vanished. Copy it quick before I lose it. So anyways, all right, Amenoma restores some energy after casting a skill and gives her attacks, so it makes her healing better. So when you have, you know, a build like you do... Wait, I forgot I had an... Oh, I think she's on the wrong build, actually. I think normally she has an ER timepiece, but anyways, when you have a build like you do, Amenoma can be potentially very, very good. Oh my gosh. Do you want to review an AR-60 not being able to clear 36 free-to-play account? I have no idea how much currency that is either, but thank you. Yes, I can. You didn't put your UID there, but I'll try to keep an eye out for your name, Tushar. Let me go check this other one quick. Blam. Blam. They didn't specify which characters they wanted. I mean, if it's all of them Viki, I am going to blaze through them. It seems like a pretty good Hu Tao. Hu Tao always has, you know, tends to have a little bit with the Homa. She's a crit damage ascending character with a crit damage weapon. She tends to struggle. This is a very, very good Crimson Hu Tao build, I think. You could get more EM and substats, but it's probably not the end of the world. It's really nitpicking. Yep, this is a very, very good Hu Tao. It's a pretty good, very good Rust build. Rust is not a crit weapon, so this is a nice balanced build for Yoimiya, for Pishimes. Gladiator, White Tassel, Arlecchino, nice. I like it. Why so much ER? Oh my god. Your Gladiator pieces have just pooped ER on you. It's really funny. Most of the time, you don't need that much. Sylveon's now paying me. Oh my god. Oh god. My intention is not just to do donations, but like, whatever. Oh well. This is what happens. Sorry for being too successful. It's like, I don't know if I'm gonna be a millionaire, but maybe. Furina, that crit rate check. You should use a crit rate circlet. Like just use a crit rate. Well, wait, I forgot this gives crit rate. Okay, a little bit more iffy. You still might be served better by a crit rate circlet with crit damage substat. Also, again, if it's double hydro, there's a fine amount of ER. If not, not great. So good Furina for double hydro. Oh, I'm not even gonna consider reviewing it. Sorry. I'm sorry. You have the Staff of Scarlet Sands, and it's the C2. So, man, Hybrid Raiden goes even more wild with C2, and it's not a hybrid build. I'm so sad. Get on my face. I'm sorry. It's fine. You don't have to play Hybrid Raiden. I got really excited after seeing Raiden with Staff of Scarlet Sands for a second, and then you didn't have a hybrid build. I'm sad. Okay, it's fine. This is a pretty good Yai build. A little bit of relatable crit ratio, but it is how you ever doing the 5-piece golden troop flex though. Oh boy, might be served better with an off-piece timepiece with a bit more crit rate. This is a much better Nahida build than I have. Yep, this is a strong Nahida. Harbinger, Hatham, so he gets a bunch of crit rate from Harbinger. Yep, pretty good Hatham. I think there's not much to say on that. All right. What was the ones I missed? Oh yeah, Tushar. Oh, did you? I have no idea. Like, did Tushar donate $7,000 to me, or did they donate 7 cents? I don't know. Hopefully not 7. You do not donate $7,000 to me. That is excessive. All right. You people are putting your, like, you want me to review your Ayato, and then you don't even put Ayato in the... Oh, wait, no, you did. You did put your UAD. I just deleted the numbers from my face. Okay, fine. Good lord. I'm just going to be doing the paid ones now, because, like, whatever. It's fine. I did not intend to only take paid ones this stream. I want to acknowledge that. I, for some reason, forgot that that's inevitably what was going to happen. So, I don't know. See, this is my fault. I should have prepared more. We're gonna review Sylveon's, Lisa's chair, Yaoyao, hybrid Yaoyao. I have no idea what teams you're using Yaoyao like this in. I know Sylveon has this build. But yeah, so this. So the difference with like hybrid Raiden and hybrid Yaoyao, right, would be like Raiden has meaningful attack scaling. Yaoyao does not. So it's not as relevant to do hybrid shenanigans with Yaoyao, to say the least. But I kind of love this, nonetheless. I feel like you're just kind of trolling me to some extent, though, Sylveon, considering that this is a hybrid Raiden build that could be really good on hybrid Raiden. You might need more ER on Raiden than this for a hybrid Raiden build. So I feel like this might be Sylveon trolling me just a little bit, but I like it a lot. I like weird builds like this. These are some really, really good artifacts for doing some shenanigans like this. So yeah. Thank you, Sylvia. Alright. Tushar, give me their thing, by the way. Oh, you sent another 40. Okay. How much money was that? Because you sent another 40 of whatever that currency is. You said 1,000 before. Or no, you sent 100, sorry. How much is that? I hope you didn't go crazy. Alright, Tushar, we'll do yours quick, and then we'll do the, we'll do Mel's top 1% Ayato. Okay, well, if it's the top 1% Ayato, you bet I'm gonna nitpick. Screw you, Dehya. Alright, bye. I'm joking. What did you want me to review? I forgot. Tushar. Oh, it's just your account. Okay. I mean, fine, we'll blaze through it. Catch build, Raiden. This seems like a very good catch build on Raiden. Traditional build. I don't like traditional Raiden as far as for the teams where this kind of build feels viable in, but it's not bad at all. This is a respectable non-crit weapon Ayato. I think Ayato might want more ER than this in many of his teams, but it depends on the team. I do think he usually needs a good little bit of chunky ER. But it's not strictly necessary. Xiphos R1. Yep, pretty good. I don't know if Xiphos in Enka shows the extra ER. No, it must be, yeah, because this is only 30% ER, so... Xiphos R1 is a weird weapon on Kazuha. It doesn't necessarily... It's not necessarily that much better than Fav, right? But it can be better than Fav if you need Fav on someone else. So, there is that. This is a very strong Yoimiya. Yep, this is a very strong 4P Shibanao Yoimiya. Alright, stop giving me money, by the way. I don't know if anyone else has, so I can actually review people that aren't sending me money. Iron Sting, relatable, I'll hate them. Relatable, I'll hate them, indeed. Also, he's level 90. Do you know, I mean, I definitely kind of wish I could, like, if I could get my resources back and delete I'll hate them from the account, I would take the resources back. He's fine, but the opposite of the kind of character I like playing in the game. He's not very versatile. Yeah, sorry. Good Wander. Well, okay, never mind. I looked at the stats and then I saw the sets. He probably is not equipped properly. That's my assumption. For a non-equipped properly Wander, pretty good Wander. That's probably still functional because what Wander needs more than anything else is just C6 Faruzan. And this would be fine, regardless of having like a 4-piece set bonus or 2-piece combos. It probably would be perfectly fine. Harp build, might want to crit rate circlet on this build. And that seems like a pretty nice Child build. Child is like one team. It's basically Vape, Child National, whatever. Get big number on him. It's good, but it also is it's his like one team. And this is a very good Arlecchino build. Yep, this is a very good Arlecchino build. A little bit more of an overload focus, but alright, top 1% Ayato from Mel. Let's do it. Let's do it. Thank you for the $5, Mel. I can word. Okay, AR60, boring. Ayato, this is a top 1% Missplitter Ayato, nice. Really interesting. Interesting. If you got to the top 1% with this low of a crit damage ratio, it like when you're talking about Akasha leaderboards, it usually matters to have higher crit rate. As far as like getting to the top of leaderboard or not, so you know, but ultimately if you still have just enough relevant stats, it doesn't matter that much. So yep, this seems like a very strong Ayato. Obviously, the EM is not necessarily always relevant on him. Ayato would be someone, if I had him, I would definitely mess around with vaping on him, though. Yeah, this is a... and you might be vaping on Ayato, I don't know. I don't know what leaderboards there are on Akasha with Ayato, but this seems to be a very strong Ayato. Other than, again, like, potential ER needs in some teams, but it depends. Very good Ayato. Your Furina's not level 90. Sad. She doesn't have to be clear, for her to be useful. But she'd usually... she's one of the characters you probably want. You also have the Furina... you have the Furina Siege Wing combo, which is pretty goated. I like the Furina Siege Wing combo, especially as you get towards building Siege Wing for DPS. Okay, okay. Any more donation ones I need to do quick? Oh my god, yes there is. Oh my Jesus. Oh my Jesus. Stop giving me money! I can't ever... I wanted to not just... okay. If I missed anyone that if I miss anyone that sends me money. By the way, Timothy Gilson, you have a name that's like... oop, I just went to your channel. I thought you might have been someone else. Anyways, if I missed anyone... oh, this is a... whatever, we'll just look at Inga. If I miss anyone that sends me money, please send me a DM on Discord. I will, like, look at your message... or send me a Discord or a DM or at me on Discord. I will look at it, and I will respond to it. But anyways, we're going to look at Yoimiya from Timothy here. Thank you for the $5. This is a Crimson Yoimiya. Interesting. This Crimson Yoimiya... I mean, Yoimiya is a similar situation as Hu Tao, from what I understand, wherein her burst is relevant, and it's like the main way that Yoimiya can get some AoE damage out, right? So I feel like, yeah, if I was a really high investment Yoimiya player, I would personally probably enjoy having Crimson on her for being able to use her burst. Yeah, it seems like good lord, like look how much EM you have. That's ridiculous. Like this amount of EM is like it barely even matters that you have a slightly scuffed crit ratio, right? Because like the stat value on this build is kind of insane. Like this is one of those things that might not be high in the Akasha rankings, but it also could be very high in the ways you can utilize Yoimiya in a little bit more flexibility in situations, versus like, let's just spreadsheet optimize her for single target damage, right? So I actually really like your Yoimiya build here. I think it's a really cool approach to Yoimiya with this balance of stats and having some ER to do some more burst. That's my assumption, right? Is you're probably getting more value out of her by being able to burst more consistently. Born to UI forced to hyperbloom. Okay. Oh my God. Len, you already give me enough money. All right, fine, Len. You want me to check your Faruzan? Fine. Got enough ER on your Faruzan? Nice. ER on Faruzan. This is definitely a DPS Faruzan build. 2v2, 2 golden troop. I really like Faruzan on DPS build. I think I've mostly left her on a tenacity build since it's easier to just leave her on that build, and I know she's built when I can use her. Versus having her on a DPS build is like, I might have yoinked the artifact she was using for other characters who knows when. So it's just easier for me to leave her on a more supportive oriented build. I would actually like to have, in the future, in the long term, like farm a really strong DPS set of 4-piece tenacity, wherein like, yeah, you're not getting the stats from the 4-piece bonuses, but just having really good substat quality on tenacity can make for Faruzan on a tenacity build still do a lot of damage. But obviously if you're trying to maximize Faruzan's own personal damage, this seems like a very strong Faruzan. Faruzan is very good at buffing herself, right? So she can contribute a meaningful amount of off-field damage, especially with a build like this. I don't know if there's anyone that's done like simulations on like where the breakpoints are for where it makes sense to actually have Faruzan on a DPS build versus like the value of her giving like 20% team attack for, you know, your other Animo unit. But obviously if you're trying to main Faruzan herself and like do her charge attack shots, this is probably the better approach, of course. So very awesome DPS Faruzan build, I like a lot. She's a character that's not even very memed to build DPS for at C6. So yeah, and we'll look at your Xingqiu too, since you dump money on me. You have a 300% ER in your Xingqiu. This is the build I want on my Xiangling, so that I could actually just use her as a pyro player and not care about her damage at all. I love it. That's so much energy. I love it. Okay. Yep. It's the build that Saint Cho deserves. Perfect. Okay. Stop giving me money. Want to see my top 100 Cyno? Sure. I mean, wait. What do you mean top 100 Cyno? Cyno doesn't have any Akasha leaderboards. How do you have a top 100 Cyno on a character that doesn't have Akasha leaderboards? Wow. Thank you for the 250. Cat either. Yeah, on a normal account. Also, I don't know if he has energy refunding constellations. I can't remember. I don't think he does, but yeah. This is like basically what my Cyno build would look like on Polearms only, but it's still slightly better than my Polearms only build. Except on Polearms only, I have to have more ER than this because it's not a normal account. Yeah, get it out of my face. Okay. Will I ever get through the money ones? I'm sorry. I want to review ones that aren't paid. Thank you, Brando, for the €2. Why are good artifacts so hard to get? Because Mihoyo RNG. Top 4% Navia. See, this is again a situation where, like, I don't know. Navi is one of those characters where a large amount of the satisfaction of her comes from seeing the big number. So if you're fine, but like for me, being that she has like her 2 hits, seeing her not crit, ugh. Like I hate the idea of it. I like that you're using Unforged, by the way. Like this is a really strong bit. Like this is a ridiculous amount of crit rate, all things considered, considering you're not using a crit rate weapon, right? Like this is a lot of crit for an attack weapon. I like it a lot. But I personally, in your situation, would probably use a crit rate circlet, especially if its crit rate circlet has crit damage and attack percent. Like don't undervalue that attack percent as being the potential difference maker for making a crit rate circlet better. That said, top 4% is obviously more than good enough to be able to clear. It's just like, you know, a 40% chance to not crit is, you know, that's 4 and 10. 4 and 10 times 4 and 10. I'm just gonna use my 0.4 times 0.4. Is a 16% chance. So in a given rotation, well, you usually do in an optimal rotation, you do more. I think you do 3 skills, but you know, whatever. You have 2 skill charges on Navia, right? That's a 16% chance in a rotation. So like a 1 in 5 chance a rotation, which means like most of the time, if you're doing an Abyss clear, you'll have a rotation where you don't crit on 2 of Navia's big hits. That like would feel crap to me, right? So like I wouldn't prefer it, but you know, if you're fine with that and you don't mind like having to reset on occasion to get better RNG for your crits, it can actually be better maybe to do it this way, right? Also, it may be possible that you have a top 4% Navia in the C2 leaderboard because of C2's crit, I think. Okay. You can tell how much it is by the color of the dono. Okay. I still have no idea how much that was. I don't know what the color of the donations... Like, I don't know what the tiers of... I don't get enough donations because I don't really encourage people to donate normally. You want some advice for your free-to-play account, Tushar? Didn't you already... Yeah, Tushar, I already reviewed your thing. What, I mean, what more advice did you need? We can go back, maybe? You keep on giving me money. Sister Kisser. Was this Tushar's? I don't remember whose Tushar's was. I think it was before Viki. Is it this one? I don't remember. Sorry, Tushar. Feel free to message me since you've donated multiple times. Feel free to message me. If you need more information, I suppose. Let's go. By the way, just got Furina HUF 1000 with plus that weapon. She has a 68 crit rate. No ER problems. Nothing better for Yaoyao because official. This is $3. Love you. HUF 3000 $3. Thank you, Vicky. R Wilder top 0.32 2 Tao. Okay. Sure. You know what? $2 to look at a Hu Tao that's gonna hurt our eyeballs. Sure. See, this is, I don't want the streams to be just me looking at. Really, this is a top 0.3. Oh, it's because it's C6. That's why. That skews it. I assume there's a C6 leaderboard for Hu Tao. Interesting that you didn't crown her skill or her burst. You can use her burst consistently with MH. Well, maybe not with that amount of ER. Yep, this is a strong MH Hu Tao build. That's for sure. Oh yeah, duh. I'm just wait. It's an MH build. You have 100% crit rate. Derp. Derp, derp, derp. Sorry, I'm used to Hu Tao just normally having cope crit rates. Sorry. Yep. Yeah, get it on my face. Get it on my. Look how much EM you have in substats on top of like yeah. Just get it out. Get it out. Get it out of here. Get it out of here. Get it out of here. I don't know, man. Average build, €5. Let's look at some relatable builds. Get this out of my face. Thank you for the dono delay. All right, Milo. Average builds, part of your Raiden and Furina. Sure, let's take a peek. I mean, like what I want to do, right, is I want to be able to look at builds that are more weird, unconventional, or things that I can like help people with, right? But I also don't want to be a dick and not like if people give me money, I don't want to not look at their things they give me money for, right? So I don't know. This is why I haven't done these streams. They're stressful and they never end up necessarily being what I want them to be. But I mean, I also make money on them, so I probably should do them more. But I don't know. This is a Fleuve Furina build. This looks like a pretty well balanced Fleuve Stunde. Probably said that wrong. It doesn't matter. Furina build. EM can do something. Furina can occasionally get some pretty significant vapes. I would say Furina is someone you like. She's one of those characters, right? Assuming your user, anything like I do, and you use her as like a buffer for any number of different teams. She's one of those characters where the crown can be worth it on her burst specifically, because it will increase the total amount of buff that she can give. And that is damage increase. That is not just damage increase for her. That is damage increase for any number of units until the time of Genshin ends, I suppose. Because, yeah, it seems like a pretty decent Raiden. Yeah, just a hybrid or not hybrid. Traditional catch Raiden build. Yeah. This is like not too dissimilar, I think, from what my Raiden catch build used to look like, but I never use Raiden catch anymore. Not bad. Not bad at all. It's a pretty good Risley. A little bit imbalanced Navia, but you're definitely critting consistently. Yeah, Verdict. Oh, Verdict is in the evening official level. You probably just got Navia. That's what my guess is. Oh, here's Ding Nilu. Nice. All right. Anyways, shouldn't get too distracted on one account. All right. Stop giving me money. Yeah, I'm behind. How else am I? This is why I'm saying like. Thank you, Tishar. Like I'm just looking at the dodos. Oh my god. Oh my god. This is gonna be the next 2 hours of my life. Oh god. Oh god. I love pay to win. I'm sister kisser C6 plunge mono. Mal, stop. Mal, I already looked at your. I didn't look at your motive, but fine. What? Stop. The same people are giving me money. C6 Mona, plunge Mona, nice. Doesn't C6 Mona do like the weird like you dash around for her to charge up her like charge attack damage bonus or something? I definitely am not surprised Plunge would be better than doing that, but I personally would have more fun doing her C6 charge attack shenanigan things. I also, Jesus, I just noticed your ER. Oh, Mona. Oh, Mona. Yeah, I would like to do something with Mona eventually, that's for sure. Yeah, her ER needs are a bit rough. I like the Mona build, like it. Obviously, it's a bit imbalanced, to be clear. But, you know, as far as memeing with Mona things goes. Okay, can I ever finish getting through the donations? I think I never am. I'm just losing my sanity. I'm sorry. Again, if I missed anything because, like, the chat went too fast and I just flew past it. Message me, please, on Discord. Or at me if I don't see the messages, because sometimes I'm bad and I don't, like, it's usually easier to get my attention by adding me on my Discord server than it is messaging me sometimes if you want a quicker response. This is a very, yep, it's a Neuvillette. And hey, you didn't skimp on ER like a lot of people with Neuvillette do. Like, you need to burst consistently on Neuvillette. For how many people I've seen that, like, just have not enough ER from Neuvillette for a lot of his teams. Obviously, you're doing, like, double Hydra, which, you know, you can. He needs less ER oftentimes, but he needs to burst consistently. Otherwise, he feels kind of yeah. This is a very good Rio. I like your Rio build more. But that's because I'm a bit of a Neuvillette hater at this point. So, this is a very strong Neuvillette. I like Rio. Good chunk of EM for Melt. Like, this is gross. You got, like, 0 dead stats in this Rio. 1, 2, 3. You have 3 dead stats. Like, what the frick? What the frick is that Rio? For a Melt Rio, to be clear. Alright, thank you, Liwax. Alright. Oh my god, am I through? Am I through? What kind is my Mona? I think my Mona is C4. I think I'm done. Wait, no, I'm not done. It just, okay. Well, Human. Why? Please, no more donations. Human with the 100 currency. Whatever green currency, or green color means. $7,000, surely. Okay. You need to wake up early tomorrow. Okay, yeah. Sorry, Human. What do you want? You didn't even specify what you want to look at. You're like, I want you to wake up early, and then you don't specify what you want me to look at. Okay. Dendro Traveler, good. Has a good chunk of ER. Fabj. I prefer more ER on them, and I don't really care about building them for damage, but your Dendro Traveler, not C6, sad, gets a good chunk of ER, or should get their energy back in most situations, especially with an R5 Fab, I imagine, and probably deals a meaningful amount of damage, right? You can make Dendro... Wait, I just noticed it's an emblem. It's not Deepwood even. Okay, you have very purposely tried to do DPS Dendro Traveler. I respect it. I respect it then. I love it. Okay, yeah, that's cool. This is, oh, interesting. You're doing attack time beast, so I don't know. Are you doing, like, Furina, Nahida, maybe? Something like that? Interesting. I'm looking at this closer now just because, like, I didn't expect it to be a actual DPS. I thought it was still just your typical Deepwood Traveler, but with a bunch of crit. I didn't realize it was emblem. Yeah, this is cool. I like it. I don't know how relevant the attack percent goblet is, right? But if you're, I don't know, if you're doing some infusion shenanigans, maybe it is. I don't know, right? It could be relevant, particularly with Furina. It's interesting. I like it. So yeah, it's hard to judge exactly anything specifically or without knowing exactly what you're doing. This seems to be a Nahida build. It's not on Prototype Amber, so who cares? No, I'm sorry. It seems to be a strong Nahida build, to be clear. I have also become a bit of a Nahida hater, and I basically just use her as a healer. A healer and buffer. She still does meaningful damage even with a pretty cope build. But, you know, it's why I don't bother investing into her at all for her damage, because it just doesn't matter. She does damage regardless. The most important thing she does is not necessary. Zipho's R2. Decent chunk of ER. Hybridy. Like, this is a lot of crit for a Kazuha build. It's a Hybridy Kazuha with a crit rate circlet. It's a lot of EM for a hybrid Kazuha, I will say. Yeah, I like it. It's cool. I don't know how big of damage you really see from this. Like, it probably doesn't actually make sense optimization-wise, but I can understand absolutely the satisfaction of getting some big crits on your talent-based damage from your skill and burst or whatever. Zhongli, Hybrid Zhongli, seems pretty decent. That seems to be a pretty decent free-to-play-ish Nuvi build. I like it. Kaya, Wolfang, C4 Kaya. Oh my, that's harder to get than C6 Neuvillette. This is a physical build. Huh. Why? Why physical? Wait, no, you're doing hybrid. Frick. What are you doing? You're doing... What is this? What? What? I'm so confused. EM timepiece? I love it. I'm confused though. Like EM timepiece, cryo goblet, physical bonus on the just like someone told you to pick, like gave you 3 options. Pick 2, and you're just like, no, all 3. You want to melt, you want a physical, you want to and you want to just get some non-melt cryo damage, I guess. I don't know. I like it. What are you doing? I'm so confused. This is a Wanderer build, pretty decent. His performance will be more dependent on C6 Faruzan than anything at this point. It seems like more than good enough. This is a very good Furina build. For once, wow, it's a Furina build that uses her weapon that has an ER timepiece. Crazy. Yep, this is a strong Furina. Alright. Am I done? Am I done with the donations? Nope. Nope. Oh. Wait, oh frick. My chat. I have to scroll through so much. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. This is not what I wanted this stream to be. Getting paid. Shimano was cringe with Thundering Pulse. Yeah. Oh yeah, Timothy, you're the Yoimiya, right? Thank you for the $2. I like it. Yeah, I probably would not be doing Shimano. I don't know. I would test Shimano's on Yoimiya if I ever got her, but probably would not. If I used her long term, it's probably not what I would enjoy the most. So I like your non-Shima build. DPS Baizhu is very silly. Okay, you know what? Here. Hopefully I'm mostly through the donations. Let's check this DPS Baizhu. Blam. That's not a Baizhu. Get out of my face. Alright. Widzith. Baiju's level 80. I mean, if you're doing DPS Baizhu, I'm assuming you're doing spread. You really want to level 90 him, just an FYI, if you want to maximize his damage. Like it will be a notable difference in the spreads that you get, but also this is a very respectable DPS. So one of the problems with DPS Baizhu probably tied to Nahida. It's basically just to get some energy particles to battery him. And even then, is this enough ER? I don't know. Not that you technically have to burst, I guess, for DPS Baizhu, to be clear, because you could just focus on like charge attacks and seeing spread on his charge attacks and normal attacks, whatever. So yeah, this is a cool DPS Baizhu build. I like it a lot. Good chunk of EM, yeah. Focus on spreads. So yeah, you're definitely focused on the spread damage here. So you would almost surely want to level 90 him. I do recommend it. You will see a notable increase in his damage. And it's not bad to 90 him for, like, you know, use with Furina for just generic healing supportive utility as well, right? I like it a lot. Anywho's, you still fixing accounts? I want to see more of them. Yeah, I'm hopefully maybe we'll have one out next weekend, so this coming weekend. No, I'm not doing reviews for donations only. It was not my intention. It's just people started donating, and then like I'm not gonna be a dick and say no, I'm not gonna do review for you after you paid money. But you know, there we go. I think I got through everything. Okay, yes, content finally. Jesus, thank you for the monies, but like, yeah, like I'm not gonna be a dick and not review things that people give me money for, right? Like it feels bad not to do that, but it's not what I wanted the stream to be. DPS Dehya, yeah, let's go. We need some Dehya in my life. I'm very sad my C6 Kaching that I got yesterday, no, 2 days ago, whatever, was not a C2 Dehya. You have C1 Dehya as well. Nice. Okay, emblem makes sense. Serpent Spine, yep. HP, so HP timepiece versus. Oh, I got here. Oh, sorry. I believe HP timepiece versus attack timepiece is kind of the same. So it's mostly, as far as Dehya's damage goes, when you have her C1, it gives her bonus HP scaling. I haven't checked in a while, but the last time I did the math, it was very, very close to the point that like it was down to whether or not you had an attack percent or what your substats were. So if you do have an attack percent substat piece that is better, you might be served better. Circlet, okay, well, that explains. I was going to say, obviously, your crit damage is a bit low. That explains it. You probably want a crit damage Circlet. HP main stat Circlet ain't doing much for your Dehya's damage there compared to what, you know, a crit Circlet would do, right? So, you know, if you get like this build is looking really, really nice, right? If you have a crit damage Circlet, of course, her ER needs are yay. So, like, okay, that depends what team you're playing Dehya in. You can get away with a much lower ER if you're doing Dehya with, like, Mono Pyro, right? But, donation jump scare. Oh, God. Okay, Oscar. You're just trying to, like, review my entire account for $20. Thank you for the $20 without even wanting me to review things. I appreciate it. So, anywho's. Yeah, you probably want, you know, like, if you want to use Dehya in like solo pyro vape Dehya, like I've been doing a lot, you likely with a crit weapon would be leaning towards an ER timepiece, and then you want a crit Circlet. So just for comparison, you know, I'll show you my Dehya. Oops. Can I have my mouse pointer? Where's my mouse? Game? Can I? There we go. There we go. So you can see I am using her signature, which is not really going to be that different from Serpent Spine. And, you know, I have 200 ER, and this is not even necessarily enough for some teams for her to vape consistently, but it depends on the team. And the teams I've been playing her on, like doing Siegeween, Furina, Dehya together, this has been more than good enough, and, you know, ER timepiece, right? Pyro Goblet, obviously, and then crit Circlet, right? And no crit substats in my Circlet, but it's because, you know, I have good enough pieces. Otherwise, and, you know, get a good amount of crit from the weapon, right? The goal is making sure she can burst consistently when you're doing burst DPS Dehya, right? So if you're not bursting consistently on a burst build, you're not doing damage. So, you know, DPS Dehya is not great. I think Dehya's best use cases is absolutely just more generic supportive utility, but I have a lot of fun DPSing her, so, you know, you know, your first priority is probably just going to be a crit damage Circlet for your case, and then maybe an ER timepiece, but it depends on the team you're using. And you can definitely use towards 150 ER if you are doing Mono Pyro, which I have done before. So, you know, anything that you can make Dehya relevant in is maybe worth considering. Okay. Can't believe, yeah, I know, I can't believe it. Thank you again, Dushar. I can't believe I'm finally finished with the donos. All right, let's see. Oh my God, the champ himself. Like, it doesn't even matter if we put on slow mode because most of these aren't people spamming. It's actually just a ton of people saying, "Oh God, Mel, you already, Mel. Okay, you want. Oh my gosh, Mel. Fine. Mel, this is the last one you get. If I see you again, thank you for any future donos, you know, but also, you've already had enough screen time. DPS Chi-Chi. I like it. How important is Chi-Chi's burst to DPSing? I don't think it's important, is it? Do you Chongyun her, or do you C6 Bennett her? I don't know what you do. I feel like I would most likely do C6 Bennett things with Chi-Chi. Just turn her into a pyro unit, right? Oh, you're doing 2 beast blizzard, so I'm assuming you are doing cryo damage focus. See, I'm not sure if you do Chongyun. If you're doing cryo damage, is probably the, you know, as non-ideal as it is. Like, Chongyun is not ideal for making like cryo units get an infusion, for the reason of he doesn't do anything other than his infusion, mostly. So, oh, oops, sorry. Oopsies. My bad. Oops. Here's the DPS Chi-Chi. I like it. I'm a bad streamer. Yep. I like it. Hybrid Raiden? I've been saved. Let's look at our hybrid Raiden. Let's go. Let's go. Sauce. 410 EM. Oh my god. That's what's... Oh my god. So... hybrid Raiden, right? The more EM you have, or the less EM buffs you have going on the team, the more EM is potentially valuable to have in substats. Obviously, this hybrid Raiden build is much more towards crit and less towards EM. The main struggle I suspect you're gonna have is like this right, so hybrid Raiden, the reason I like it so much is because it's like insane for making it so you can use Raiden in a carry playstyle in a ton of different team combinations. This is a ridiculous amount of crit for a hybrid Raiden build, but this amount of ER, in my experience, would not be enough. Like, I run about 200 ER on my hybrid Raiden. Wait, can I... Lit? There we go. And so I have a little bit more EM, right? It's not that different as far as EM. And a bit less crit, obviously, notably less crit rate, and a bit less crit damage, but I have like 20% more ER, or 22% more ER. And, you know, I would love to be able to get, you know, some more crit damage or whatever on this piece and whatnot. Get some crit rate on this piece, but if you're, you know, you need to have your burst back. And there are situations where this much ER, I can, because like I don't get like her full charge attack sequence out or whatever, etc., etc. This might not be enough ER. Like, this is like right, in my opinion, on that borderline of enough, but also it's like an it depends enough. I suspect the amount of ER that you have, it depends on the team you're playing hybrid Raiden in, but I suspect the amount of ER you have might struggle more often to burst consistently. But at the same time, you have C2. So it's like, does it really matter if it takes you an extra, you know, 10 seconds to get your energy back sometimes? Probably not. So, you know, it probably doesn't matter for you. I think you probably understand this. So I'm just mentioning it kind of for anyone else. This is a very nice hybrid Raiden build. I like it a lot. You have a better freaking EM goblet than even I do, which... Screw you. That's all I can say. This is a ridiculous... Like, I want to emphasize, getting this high of a CV EM goblet plus an ER roll is one of the hard... Like, this is one of the rarest artifacts you can possibly get in the game. Ridiculous. Like EM is a main stat, it's a 2.5% drop rate. And then you have EM. You know, double crit, EM, ER. God, gross. Anywho's. Not to mention this, like, the ridiculous stat value and that, like, oh my god. Like, actually ridiculous. But, yeah, just a little bit lacking in ER is all I could say. So, I like it a lot, though. I love me some hybrid Raiden. I hope you're enjoying it, too. Yeah, a C2 hybrid Raiden from the calcs I did, by the way, and, like, the maximum damage builds, like, gets towards, like, 400, 500k. But to be clear, that's like more playing like hyper carry hybrid Raiden with like trying to buffer as much as possible, whereas I'm usually not actually, it's not actually what I enjoy the most about hybrid Raiden is doing that. But like, it's surprising how much damage you can get on a hybrid Raiden build is doing as something as like unintuitive as putting double EM main stat on her with Staff of Scarlet Sands and C2. Like, she goes freaking crazy. Anywho's, you've been waiting since the start of the stream for Arlecchino and Navia and Furina. You know what? Sure. Let me review some. If I can ever get your UID, because the chat won't stop. I'm sorry. Oh my god, I can't. I wanna. We'll do some normalcy for a second here. We looked at a hybrid Raiden. We'll look at some normals. All right, Azraela. Pretty good. You might be served better by a current circlet. Also, why are you doing emblem? What's going on here? Okay, correction. Also, why are you doing HP timepiece? Why are you doing high? What are you doing? I'm so confused. Okay, I don't know if they're just straight memeing on me or whatever. Or if they actually don't know. What are your AR 55? Okay. I'm just confused. Hydro Goblet, HP. So, like, the amount of, like, subset quality implies to me you've spent a meaningful amount of resin on artifacts. Do your no crit Virgin Thoma Aita Hazing? Okay, I'll try to remember to do that in a second. Yeah, I don't know, right? I don't know what's going on here. Maybe she's unequipped because you're yoinked her artifacts for someone else. It might have just been intended as an in-progress thing. But if this is an in-progress build, you're over-prioritizing the substats over the main stats, is what I would say. So, like main stats are basically always a priority over substats. It's very hard for you to get enough substats to make an incorrect main stat worthwhile. Not that it's impossible, right? It's possible that if you have a on-set timepiece that completes a strong, like, 4-piece whimsy set or something, that is an HP timepiece that's like 50 or not 50, like 40 crit value, like it's this amount of crit value, but it's on whimsy and it completes the set bonus, and you have strong other whimsy artifacts, right? It's possible that in that context, an HP whimsy timepiece, because you don't have any other attack percent one, and even, like, other than like maybe a attack percent with no good substats, but like it's very rare, right, where it makes sense to use the wrong main stat. So they might just be beaming. I don't know, right? Maybe they're doing Candace weirdness. But even then, if you're doing Candace weirdness, you still don't do an HP timepiece. So I don't know. Yeah, you get Lon wants her artifacts back, I guess. What was the other one? I think it was Navia. You wanted Navia Furina. Looks like a pretty good, more damage-oriented Furina build. Questionable amount of ER with a non-fab build, especially. Actually, wait, you're doing Emblem again. What is happening? Oh god, what? No stat bonus? I mean, okay. Attack percent. You got the right main stats here. Your Navi is probably the best one you got going. This is, you again, with a non-crit weapon. Probably want to crit rate circlet. There can be times where a really, really good crit damage circlet can be worth it to have an imbalanced crit ratio. But you probably want to crit rate circlet. Yep. Yeah. So I don't know what's going on here. Golden Troop is worth farming for Furina, for sure. You can get value out of it with, you can get Marsh say Hunters on your Xiao. You can you can put Marsh say Hunters on literally anyone that's paired with Furina as an on-field DPS. So, you know, it would be worth it for you to spend some time in that domain. And then Arlecchino, get the right main stats on. It's possible they just genuinely didn't know, right? It's absolutely possible. Go check out the likes of Sevi and like look at their character build guides, kind of thing. Sevi makes really approachable character build guides. I have no problem recommending them. Oh, another donation. Oh god. Okay. Where Itahasi? Where's your freaking Virgin Thoma? I want to look at the Virgin Thoma. Virgin Thoma is pretty simple, so it should take like 2 seconds. Is why. And I'll do the donation one real quick. Okay. Well, I lost your comment, Itahasi. Never mind. Oh, there it is. There it is. There it is. Okay. Wait, that's not a UID. There's supposed to be a 6 here. Yep, there we go. I got it. I got it. Virgin Tome. Dwangsman. This is a holy Jesus. Jesus. I want to acknowledge how hard it is to get Thoma on a Virgin build to have this much energy recharge and this much EM. Like, you are ready for Kaniche. Not that you have to get a Kaniche for Virgin Thoma or anything. But like, good God, this is not an easy build to reach this threshold on. This is like why I haven't bothered with Virgin Thoma. Gross. Okay. Where is Tapung? I don't know. Apologies because I pronounced it wrong. Asia, first 4 top 0.01 builds. Ah, I see. I see. I know what kind of player you are. Welcome to Resin Refreshing the Player. Well, maybe not. Maybe not. Well, I don't know. I was gonna say Resin Refreshing the Player, but then they didn't. They had like Battle Pass weapons. Maybe just welcome to getting super lucky the player. Exactly. Yup. Yup. That's yup. You're saying top 0.01% though? I don't know if I believe you. This one I believe actually, I think. Yeah, I believe this one. I don't think a Gladiator Arlecchino can get to top 0.01. Like you do realize like top 0.01 is like top 10, right? Like I shouldn't say top 10, but like if you're in top 1%, like I have an Arlecchino in like in I think actually I don't know my Gladiator Arlecchino I think actually finally I think my Gladiator Arlecchino yeah finally fell to top 2%. But like this used to be top 1%, right? And it was like in the top 1% of like it was 1,600 out of 200,000. So top 0.01% is 100 times higher, right? Like so that's like top 100. I don't know if a Gladiator build on Arlecchino can get... This is not a vape oriented. Well, it kind of is vape. I don't know. Maybe. Like, I don't know, man. It'd be really hard for a Gladiator build. It's not like it's a bad Gladiator build. It's just like... You got no idea how competitive the top 1.01% is. Like, as far as, like, you can't have anything that's bad. So, and being that Whimsy is a set for Arlecchino, right? Yeah, I mean, actually, okay. Like, see, this is like the top 0.01%, right? This is top 0.01%. Like, it's not... That's with Homa, to be clear, versus Jade Spear. I don't know. It might be top 0.01%, but anyways, yeah, very good builds. I don't actually think you're necessarily resin refresh the player. I thought you might have been, but yeah. Anyways, interesting. Furina been waiting for an hour, please. I mean, sure. Let's do a more generic advice one. You need advice for Furina? Chances are, oops, didn't mean to refresh. Well, go back, please. Please. There we go. Here. Chances are your advice for Furina is gonna be ER. Yep. Yep. You can get like a free roll of ER by leveling Fab to 90. You get an R3 Fab, which is nice. And you're doing an HP circlet. Probably want to do a crit damage circlet. Although, actually, Jesus, that's a very... Okay. This is a high enough CV HP circlet that I could see why maybe you are doing an HP circlet. Eventually, you'd probably want to still do a crit rate or a crit damage circlet, most likely. In your case, it might actually be that a Hydro Goblet is better because of this ridiculous HP circlet. Depending on what your Hydro Goblet options are compared to this, being that it would have to be an onset piece, it's a little bit But I don't know. I would try a crit damage, being that the circlet is your off piece, assuming you have an off piece crit damage circlet to potentially use. See what the crit damage circlet performs like, as far as her damage goes. But then other than that, it's just her ER. Like, I prefer like 180 ER is usually like the recommended amount for a Fab build. For solo Hydro Furina at like minimum. If you're doing double Hydro, it's probably fine. Probably, but it's also still on the edge in my opinion because like I don't know. And I really prefer the extra comfort of being able to burst 100% consistently, never having to worry about it in Furina. So I always play her with excess ER, both to power her down for my videos because I have constellations, and because I actually just prefer having excess ER. I really don't care that much about Furina's damage performance relative to her ability to burst consistently and enable the team to be stronger versus her own damage contribution. But like optimization wise, it doesn't make sense to go as far into ER as I did, to be clear, right? But like I would prefer literally probably 50% more ER than this, and the easiest solution would be like an ER timepiece potentially, but you definitely don't have to do an ER timepiece with Fab. So yeah, I would recommend more ER and then like crit damage circlet. Oh god. Okay, got it. The chat's moving so fast. I'm trying to pick up something. Jesus. This is why I haven't done these streams in over a year. It's stressful. It's stressful. Oh, I missed a donation from Theodore. Well, okay, that makes things easy. We'll try to look quick. I don't know what BGN is, but it's... Well, actually, wait, it says number 1 on it. I'm assuming this is actually a meaningful amount of money then. I have no idea what 10 BGN is. Alright. Theodore, or Theodore? I don't know. Anyways, Neuvillette. Yep. That's a strong Neuvillette. C2 even. You're even using a crit rate circlet instead of like doing what a lot of high investment Neuvillette players. Your ER might be a little bit, but it depends on the team. A lot of Neuvillette players tend to be like, I need to get 300 crit damage when I have a signature weapon. I'm like, no, probably not. Yep. Yep. Strong Furina, assuming double hydro. I personally would not be running this kind of build on Furina with her signature weapon. I would be doing ER typies, but not a bad build, obviously. Just depends on how you're using her. I hate having non-universal builds on Furina. Unless I'm purposely making a team that is around trying to get her to do more damage, right? Raiden, Arlecchino. Is it Hyper Raiden? Nope. Bye. I'm sorry. You paid for this. I'll look at it. C3 Raiden. Alright, nice. Relatable crit rate. This is the problem with traditional Raiden. A problem with traditional Raiden commonly. This is a very, very good build, but with very inconsistent crits. I personally would probably switch to a crit rate circlet, but you have such a good crit damage circlet, it's not going to be like insanely better. So, you know, if you're fine with it, why does it matter, right? I personally would definitely switch though. Yeah, very good Raiden build. She's an annoying arse character to build. Like, I honestly think in some ways her normal, like an engulfing build is a lot more annoying to build on her than a hybrid Raiden build. Especially the longer you play, you'll just get some like decent EM pieces that start to work really well for hybrid. But anyways, that's like a more of a statistical analysis for chances of different stat combinations and like thresholds. It takes like actually like more hardcore math analysis to properly solidify that as a thought, and I'm not gonna do that. But that's my feeling, having built Raiden both ways. I kind of think an engulfing Raiden is more, on a traditional build, it's more annoying to build than a hybrid Raiden with Staff Scarlet Sands and wanting EM main stat pieces, because your stat distribution becomes, you don't just care about crit, you care about ER much more, and attack percent much more, such that you have enough extra stats that you care about that are all valuable in different ways, that you don't need to just hyper farm for the rarest substats like you do on this. It is my theory, but it's really hard to nail down. Pretty good Arlecchino. Yep, is a decent Arlecchino Gladiator build. Not too much to say about it. Very good chunk of attack in substats, and a little bit more ER than you, considering Arlecchino oftentimes needs 0. But it's a good Arlecchino. I like her builds. You definitely invest a bit in them. Alright. Let's do someone else. We need at least one Noelle. Oh, you're true, Gretchen. Haven't I looked at your Noelles before? I feel like I've looked at your Noelle before, Gretchen, but you know what? Fine, we'll look at your Noelle quick. Let's go. Cradius, Gladiators, and Arlecchino, and Ayato. Is it really, though, considering we just saw that stupid Akasha one earlier? Noelle, C6, Redhorn, Def, Geo, Husk of Opulent Dreams, nice for Husk, very nice. This is a pretty cracked Noelle. The teams I've been playing Noelle, and I find I need more ER than this. That's the most rough thing about Noelle, is she just does not generate energy. Thanks, Mihoyo. So, you know, this is a ridiculous Noelle build that still sometimes might not burst consistently, depending on the team. Yay! So, anyways, yeah, I usually play MH Noelle with, like, double Hydro, Wet Rock Noelle with Furina. And, found 140 is what I like. Opinions on the new skins? I don't like Nilus. I just vastly prefer. I really like her default skin. It looks very meh. And the cat skin, it was like a solid 8-9 out of 10, and then the boob jiggle physics added to her skin made it drop to like a 4 out of 10. So I really actually hate the Kirara skin. Eula. Alright, let's look at a Eula. Oops. Oh my god, okay. Figures. The Eula, anyone that would play Eula this long is insane enough to do this, you know? Like, it's not even a given that they actually spent money for this. They might have actually just liked Eula so much, and she went so long between banners that you could have easily saved up enough Prima Gems to get it. Like, you haven't even done Spiral Abyss Passport. What? Yeah, a reasonable amount of crit rate on a 4-piece Pillar Flame Eula. Like, gross. Gross. A few Welkins, yeah, I imagine. as a heckin' Eula. Let's see. My goal is not to just look at top percent builds, but guys, I wanna look at more interesting things. So I can't say that saying you have top 1% characters is that attractive to me necessarily, as far as what I think is valuable to look at. But Crit Faruzan, we looked at a Crit Faruzan earlier. Time to atone for your Chongyun slander, nuke, melt, burst DPS. I mean, that's the best thing to do with Chongyun's. Like, my slander for Chongyun is not that Chongyun himself is bad for, like, taking advantage of his own infusion, but that he gives infusion to others and he doesn't do enough for others, right? But as far as Chongyun's own DPS, like, I probably will make a Chongyun video eventually. Wow, you even have a healthy amount of ER, which I assume he wants a little bit of ER because I think a lot of his damage is loaded in his burst. And this is an emblem build too, derp. So, yep, this is a very, very strong Chongyun. I respect it a lot. Yeah, this is a heckin' Chongyun. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 dead stats. That's basically nothing. That's basically nothing. 6 dead stats, and it's in 2 of the most RNG heavy pieces. And these didn't have any dead rolls, right? So they're barely dead stats. I barely count single artifacts with 1 bad stat that didn't get any rolls into it as a dead stat. Ridiculous. Very good Chungus. I don't think I'll ever get that good of a build, but I will probably make a DPS Chongyun video eventually. That's the best thing to do with it is infusion, right? Because the problem is, like, if you want to give someone else a cryo infusion, 1, cryo is not that great of an element to do anything with, and then 2, like, what does he do other than infusing cryo? Like, for if you're doing infusion memes, like, nothing. So, but if you're doing DPS Chongyun himself, then it's good that he gives himself an infusion. So, DPS Chongyun, oh, let's go. She gets 10 crit from her passive. I mean, she gets 10 crit from her passive in multi-target situations, if I recall. So, I wouldn't say it's a given that she gets 10 crit from her passive. Diana. But you have a healthy amount of crit rate anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Interesting you're doing 2 emblem. Oh, because you have no ER. You needed to do 2 emblem. That's why. Alright, yep. Very good. The thing with, like, DPS Chongyun, right, is, like, I think she's one of the better characters to do plunge DPSing on, because, right, if you're doing, like, plunge DPS of whatever character, you're putting her on a supportive oriented build, and then, you know, probably doing Furina, and then, you know, maybe Bennett, maybe not, I don't know. And then plunge on whoever, versus you have an extra team slot if you're doing her as the plunge DPS. It's the same thing as, like, if you're plunge DPSing Bennett himself with Bennett C6 versus, like, using Bennett C6 to do a plunge DPS on someone else. It's just worse because now you don't have an extra team slot to, like, increase the team's damage that way. But yeah, so anyways, I would, because of the Furina Chongyun pairing, I would always be using Marsh, say, for a DPS build on Cloud Retainer. I'm assuming your intention is to have you know, do a DPS build on her that is not tied to Furina, whether it be for Overwhelmed or whatever, which is completely fair. But yeah, I think this looks like a pretty good build, other than like potentially not enough ER to burst consistently, but it kind of depends. The weird thing with Chongyun C1 in combat is like it doesn't, like the cooldowns line up in a way that like you're not getting 2 skills per rotation in like a normal 20-second rotation. You're getting 2 skills per 24 seconds, right? Because it has a 12-second cooldown, so it doesn't benefit your energy that much in a normal rotation context. It just kind of helps you occasionally, but it is nice for like getting more damage because it does have a big multiplier attached to it when you're building her for DPS. So I really like plunge DPS Chongyun. That's all. Like I like doing plunge Chongyun more than I like doing plunge Xiao. I'm sorry, it's more fun to me. Plunge Xiao is stronger because of his like in AOE situations, but plunge Chongyun I think is stronger than Xiao in single target, but AOE Xiao takes over because, you know, single target buffing, whatever, etc. Oh, you don't have Furina. Oh, okay. Yeah, if you want to get Cloud Retainer plunge to feel really good, give Furina. Yeah, I love plunge Cloud Retainer. It's really fun. Plunge DPS Cloud Retainer. We need an Amber. Oh, I agree. If I can copy your UID, it's so hard to copy UIDs when chat is moving. Good God. Okay. Let's go. I didn't expect this many viewers, by the way, for this. I didn't prepare. I should have prepared proper. Great first magic noise. We all like Linny, but version 1.0 Linny. C3 Amber, very nice. I also have C3 Amber. I'm probably going to make another Amber video once I get C4 Amber, because I think it'll make her Baron Bunny shoot the bomb playstyle a lot more fun. A problem I had with her at C2 was you just like didn't do much with her on field, and I couldn't figure out anything else to do with the team, like with someone else that made sense. So you're just like doing some bad charge attacks. Like I don't know. I think C4 might make her a lot more fun. But anyways, Wanderer's Shoop build, charge attack focus Amber, basically Linny, but actually fun. No offense. I'm just trolling. But unironically, I'd rather play DPS Amber than Linny. No, it's just saying. Yep, pretty good. Obviously, relatable Pyro Goblet. Relatable pieces in general. Like I don't know. This is an example where like one of the valuable things that I think the likes of Zajef underestimate about. This is why I always say, like, you know, I stress like weapon banner is risky, but weapon banner at the same time can enable you to not have to farm for artifacts as much, because it can give you a lot of the damage stats you need without having to do a bunch of farming. It's definitely not something I ever recommend, because any weapon banner you really need to evaluate it for your account. But having some options for 5-star weapons can give you a lot greater flexibility for your builds to be competent without having to have as insane artifacts, which a lot of people might prefer that, right? It's why I don't think it's actually the correct take from the likes of Zajef to like completely never touch weapon banner. I don't think it actually makes sense. I think there is a point where it does actually start to make sense. It's just really situational on a given account, and it's hard to nail down when it is actually worth the risk. But there is an eventuality where I do think it is worth it. And Zajef's account, I think, is one of them, unironically. He should be wishing on weapon banners that have valuable 5-star weapons for him and Fav Sword, because like he complains about not having Fav Sword. Enough Fav Swords. Fremine Physical for $5 from Penguin Bar. Yeah, let's look at a freaking Frem build. Let's go. You guys should check out wildlife. Also donating to say that you guys should check out wildlife charities to help save animals like penguins. Yes, I agree. Do you have penguin? Feel free to mention in chat what charities do you recommend. I'm not well researched on animal charities. Okay. Let's see. Penguin Bar, Fremine. I'm assuming you just really like Fremine because like penguins. I like it. This is a nice Fremine. Pale Flame Frem. Verdict, very nice. I like. I love it. I love seeing people use signature weapons that aren't. To be clear, I think you need to. What is verdicts? I don't know. It doesn't matter. Yeah, I think you have to trigger crystallizes to get the skill damage passive. But I recall mentioning like originally like a potential meme fun use of verdict not on Navia might have been like doing it on Fremine. So I love it. Yeah, that's great. Fantastic. Yep. If I ever get C6 Frem, I will probably make a video on him. Not necessarily a physical build, but yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. DPS Siegewind? Oh, let's go. Wait, Skyward Harp DPS Siegewind, though. You know Siegewind's damage is HP scaling, right? To be clear, Skyward Harp is still a crit stat stick. It's just the high base attack does nothing. EM timepiece, huh? Interesting. You're also not above 30k HP, so... Also, you don't have a complete 4-piece emblem. Like, I'm assuming you're trying to do 4-piece burst damage bonus. So the thing with Siegewind, like, DPSing her goes, I think it makes the most sense to build her like Neuvillette. But to build her also with, like, a hybrid focus. So, like, sacrificing some of her damage to build her with more HP so that she's still buffing a little bit. And where are you, lady? Where is the snail child? What? There he is. I don't think she's starred. That's why I should star her. Actually, I do use her enough. Like the Furina Siegewind core, right? If you want to get damage out of Siegewind, the easiest way is to pair her with Furina and give her Marchesaise, and then give her, you know, whatever stat stick bow. Skyward Harp should work fine. Obviously, Aqua is a little bit better, especially with Marchesaise Hunters. And then I do HP main stat, right? And the end result is she has about 50,000 with Hydro Resonance. She has about 50,000 HP, which means she's still, with her passive that buffs for her HP that's over 30,000, she's still doing some meaningful buffing for Furina. So this makes a combo, and because you're doing Siegewind and Furina together, and that's like what Siegewind's whole kit was designed around, you can still get meaningful healing from her. She's still your team-wide healer, keeping up your damage bonus stacks on Furina, right? Giving you double Hydra, making your Furina's damage higher, both through the buff and for the reducing Furina's ER needs. And then Furina exists, so you can on-field, but you always have to on-field her and burst on her. You can definitely just E-bot her for a generic healer utility, but you can, you know, use her burst. And this is a Neuvillette charge attack burst that doesn't take, like, it only takes a short amount of field time, and you can get Neuvillette level damage out of it. It takes a meaningful amount of investment too. Like, I'm not saying you have to do the full hybrid thing, but you probably, assuming you have Furina, you want to do this, do Marchesaise, would be my recommendation, right? And I'd probably recommend HP, because, like, she doesn't apply enough Hydro where you're consistently getting a Vaporize, like, on her burst or whatever, wherein it makes it worth it to use EM. You shouldn't do an EM timepiece. You definitely want an HP timepiece. So, yeah. I recommend HP timepiece. I recommend Marchesaise, but Emblem is probably not unusable by any means. As far as damage maximized Siegewind goes, like the maximum possible damage you could ever see out of her burst, it might be Emblem. Might. But you probably don't want to, like, just go for seeing the biggest number possible on her if you actually want to use her in more situations for DPSing, right? Like, that's why I have her on the build I have, is like I can leave Siegewind on the build she's on and always have her on a DPS build, and she's still doing buffing and healing utility. So, yeah. Oh, more donations. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. I like the DPS Siegewind, to be clear. I think that she was actually made to do DPSing things, right? It's just, don't know if your path is necessarily the ideal path to go towards. But if you're enjoying it, you know, it doesn't really matter. It's a video game. Play however you enjoy having fun, right? The Navalio, thank you for the 5 CAD. We want to look at Arlecchino and Xiao. Skyward Spine, interesting. You probably want to crit rate circlet. You're doing 2-piece Whimsy. I'm assuming you're probably farming for 4-piece Whimsy. Your AR-58, I don't know, depending on how much you've farmed for characters, you might not have that many Gladiator pieces, right? Or might have just gotten unlucky with Gladiator. Of course, looks like a work in progress. You'd want to level up her normal attack talent more. You basically don't need to bother with her burst talent significantly. She doesn't do that much damage on her burst. And in most of her teams, you don't burst that often. I usually prefer saving her burst for situational utility versus, you know, trying to get it to do damage. It's not usually worth doing for the damage it deals. It's worth using for resetting her skill and healing, right? So, anyways, I really like how her burst works, but it isn't a burst you necessarily need to spec into with ER and whatnot. So, you might be better served. I don't know if you have a Battle Pass weapon. Actually, you have Misslitter. Okay, oh yeah, you have bought Battle Passes before. So, assuming you have, like, Deathmatch or, what's it called? Wolf's, whatever, the other polearm can work if you have 3-element teams as well. So Vape teams for Arlecchino, basically. I would recommend Deathmatch potentially as an option. Then you don't even need to like bother switching to a crit rate circlet, right? Might serve you better. Or you could do White Tassel even, might actually be better in your situation than Skyward Spine. But White Tassel definitely puts more need for having Bennett with her, and I like playing her without Bennett, so you know. Skyward Spine is not the worst. It does have high base attack. The ER doesn't do much, and it has crit rate, and it's passive. It's not the worst. That would just be my advice. You know, whatever. Explore some different weapon options, and then, you know, obviously I'm assuming you're just working on completing the build. But you seem to have, like, to know what you're doing as far as, like, valuable stats and whatever overall. It just might be a little bit imbalanced right now. Xiao. Okay, it's kind of same story here. You might see better consistent performance on your Xiao from doing a crit rate circlet. Oh, you're also doing 2-piece, no piece. Okay. With good enough like substat combinations, it can make sense to do 2-piece, no piece, right? It just depends on it. Ultimately, depends on what your artifacts are, right? So, of course, you will probably want to level up Jade Spear to level 90, of course. So yeah, level up Jade Spear. You will get a very significant damage increase from Xiao doing that. And then if you can get 2-piece VV, you know, like replacing the timepiece in particular potentially, because this is certainly not the most insane timepiece right now, especially with your need of having more crit rate versus crit damage. Like sticking with this circlet and then getting a timepiece that has 10% crit rate, right? Losing the 70% crit damage might make your highest number you see go down a little bit, but you're also going to be getting the annual damage bonus. Like, I think you won't see that much of a difference as far as the highest damage you see, even if you lose the crit damage entirely from here and then get an attack percent timepiece like in VV that you can maybe strongbox for that just has crit rate on it. Could be a significant improvement there. There was one other donation. Oh, frick, it deleted it. Oh no. YouTube, why do you delete them from the top? Can you keep them? Frick me. Well, let me see if I can find it. Oh, there it is. There it is. Good. Okay. Child and some others. Okay. Thank you for Corellis. Do yours quick. Strong Child, C3 Child. Yep. Level 11 confused me for a second, but I remember Child does his passive. Oh, you farm for the artifact. Also, let's... There we go. Sorry, I forgot about that going in the background. That was really annoying. Yeah, this seems like a pretty good Child. I don't know. I mean, you're AR-59, right? So it's possible you might have other artifact combinations that are better than this 4-piece set. I am not familiar enough with this 4-piece on Child specifically, and where the like breakpoints for like substat quality on this with the 4-piece bonus stats where it starts to be better. It's definitely overall a good balance of a build though. Particularly with Constellations, I suspect you don't have many problems. So, you know, yeah, seems like a pretty decent, well-rounded build. I think that's kind of all there is to it, but not that there obviously can't be improvements. You'd be served with more raid, you know, in your timepiece because it hasn't done a better flower, whatever. Like, I don't know. It's possible that you might see a better experience with me in 2-piece combos compared to your 4-piece set, right? That's the only thing I would consider exploring. Maybe is just see if you have 2-piece combos that might be better while you're farming for Nim Stream through Strongbox or whatever. You may find it is better. You might not. It depends on your artifacts. Look at your other ones quick. Kaya. Nice Kaya build. C2 Kaya. Very nice. I like it. Supportive, melty, or no. Blizzard? No. Yeah, just burst support. Do some off-field damage Kaya. I like it. Good Diluc. Crimson Diluc. A little bit low on crit rate, but nothing crazy. Pretty good Diluc. Wander. Low on crit rate. I sense a trend. Well, a little bit less invested in the other Fremine build we saw. Not necessarily unusable, but probably not the greatest. I don't think this weapon is going to be the best for a physical Fremine. I think the 3-star weapon might be better. I'm not sure. I'm not confident it might be better than the 3-star weapon, but it might not be. The 3-star physical Claymore. I know on Eula, this Claymore is worse than the 3-star Claymore, if I recall. So it might be the same case with him. That was basically where it's coming from. Blizzard Ayaka. That's a very good Blizzard Ayaka. Yeah, that's a very good Blizzard Ayaka. Ooh, this is a 4-piece build on Navia. Yeah, it's a very good 4-piece build. Oh yeah. Maybe not enough ER. Depends on the team. Navia's got weird variable ER needs, and she definitely needs to burst consistently, right? Ooh, that's a very nice Cyno, but why is he using Raiden's signature weapon? I'm joking. Yeah, this is a very nice Cyno. Very, very nice Cyno. Okay. Okay. Let's see if we can find something. I wanna, by the way, for anyone that wants me to look at stuff, like, mention your character. Like, I like looking at, like, unconventional more builds. I think they're more interesting, fun to look at. I don't want to just look at, oh my god, look at that artifact. Like, they're fun to look at and glance at briefly. Like, I'm not gonna not look at any of them, but you know, it's not my goal is not to just show off cracked builds. Newbie, you want advice? I've been playing since March of this year. Yeah, sure, let's go. That's the kind of thing I actually want to look at. Thank you, Rinben. Oh, okay. I'll try to... Here, we'll keep this one open. I'll open a new tab here. But your character things are not viewable. You have to go... Here. Let's go back to the game. Edit profile here. And then there's a little show character details button here. If you don't have it, it shows this little slash icon, and then Enka. Nobody can look at your stuff. So you gotta enable that. Your DPS Sijuin and Hu Tao. Oh, well, I was going to, and then chat just flew past. Okay. I have no idea. Oh, frick. Well, sorry. I already looked at a DPS Sijuin too, and I kind of said my shtick about her, so. Some have been waiting since the start. I mean, again, I'm just kind of like randomly selecting based on whatever catches my interest. Like I said, guys, like saying your character's like top 1% or has cracked artifacts is not necessarily what makes me want to look at characters. We've seen plenty of those from the people that have sent me some monies. Like, I would rather do things that like people need some advice for stuff, or whatever, or they're just showing really interesting builds, whatever, for whatnot. Top 0% Xiao. Yeah, okay. He's infinitely better than any other character. Low ID, UID enjoy. You're at UID 87,000. Wow, Jesus. I'm not gonna look at every one of your builds, but I'm just kind of curious. This is a player that's been playing since the launch of the game, like since the first few hours launch of the game. Chevreuse. Oh, I like this person already. What the frick is this build? What? Oh my god. Okay. Yep, this is you've been farming artifacts since the launch of the game type of player. Jesus Christ. What the oh my god. It's like a Marsh to say ratio on Yolana and Emblem with 170 ER still. Oh, good god. This is a nice Chlorand. She gets a bunch of free credit, right? Remember? I don't think that's reflected here. Very good Ganyu. It's an almost bone Ganyu, right? That's a very good Ganyu. I want to emphasize that. Hey, oh yeah. Look at, like, I love it. Sauce? Oh, okay. Well, I love it less. I wanted to see Staff of Scarlet Sands on Raiden and then engulfing on Xiangling because it's Xiangling's signature weapon. Yeah, this is the weapon that actually enables Xiangling to be solo pyro, but you actually don't have enough ER to really use solo pyro Xiangling. But yeah, it's a good Xiangling build, obviously, still. Just not necessarily enough for solo pyro. And this is a good Raiden build. But it's not hybrid, so who cares? Not me. Very nice Dehya build. I think it's worse than mine. Get wrecked. I'm sorry. It's actually, yeah, it's basically mine, but a little bit less crit, a little bit less ER. More attack, yeah. I mean, that's why you have less ER. There you go. So like, I don't think there's enough ER for most Vape Dehya builds, so this is a mono pyro Dehya. So it might be better than mine for mono pyro, but mine does not do mono pyro most of the time on our current build. So yeah, very good Arlecchino. Yep, this is like a good example on account. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if they've never spent money on the game. I wouldn't be surprised if they have spent money, to be clear, like done Welkins, whatever. But like, you can definitely, after you play a long time, you can get to the point of, you know, getting 5-star weapons and getting these really, really good builds and clear all the content in the game without a problem, without spending any money. So I suspect with how many 5-star weapons they have, they've probably at least done like Welkins or whatever. But yeah, it's an interesting glance at an account that has played since the launch of the game. Not necessarily every day since the launch of the game, but you know. This does not scream money spending to me, but they might have spent money, considering the weapons. Depends. It's very much possible they got them without having to spend money. Oh, they said too much money in chat. Okay, there we go. Yeah, weapon banner's a mistake, guy. He's going into weapon banner this hard. Anywho's, can vouch 1.1 player and all my mains have signatures without topping up. Yep. Okay. Free to play Lisa main. You will not believe. I mean, I don't care about the 5-star weapons. The 5-star weapons were just interesting in the context that this player has played for a long time, and it's possible when you played it this long that you can actually get the weapons without wasting egregious amounts of money. Oh yeah, they had 1,000 achievements too. It was like 1,100 achievements. Alright, C4 Lisa, very nice. Just talk to Sylveon if you would really need in-depth thoughts on DPS Lisa. Like, Sylveon's dedication to Lisa is ridiculous, Victor. I think this was Victor's. Yep, Vic Collector. 4P's Thundering Fury, interesting. Why Thundering Fury? Why does the skill cooldown do anything for her? Interesting. I'm curious why you're doing Thundering Fury. EM sends is worse than attack. That's kind of what I thought. But they're maybe just trying to like do aggravates, spamming the skill. Or ultimate, yeah, or ultimate damage, Lisa. 4-piece DF is basically useless. That's what I kind of thought. Yeah. Because like TF is an equation of like, does it get you to the point of getting like an extra skills in a rotation? So like TF on Kazuha lets him, or Kazuha, I mean you can do TF on Kazuha, but TF on Cyno lets you get extra skills like in between his eye hits, which reduces his ER needs significantly, and makes him more interested to play, and gets extra damage. Like TF is better because of the extra skill hits on Cyno, because he has a short skill cooldown, but like it's right at that borderline and lets you get those extra skills out. Whereas Lisa doesn't have cooldowns. I think that makes sense for getting extra skills out, is my understanding. Yeah, and yeah, she needs more ER too. That's what I thought. So thank you, Sylveon. Yeah, Lisa's ER is a yep. So yeah, my guess is doing 2-piece combos might be better if you're Lisa, and then doing attack percent timepiece, a little bit more ER. Okay, Ningguang main who quit for 2 years. That's YouTube. Let me see the comment. That's an interesting enough hook. Let's see what it looks like. Again, if I missed anyone, by the way, because like YouTube chat is maybe miss a donation, whatever. Do feel free to contact me on Discord. I don't want to feel like I stole money from you without giving anything in return. Dang. The question is, did you realize that Chiori was one of the best possible teammates they've ever released for Ningguang? You might want to consider, if you really like playing Ningguang, you might want to consider Chiori for Ningguang. It seems like a very good Ning build, though. Alternatively, to be clear, by the way, they're also, before you commit hard to the Chiori thing, there's also rumors for upcoming Geo 5-star that might be very, very good. So, not just for Geo teams, but also non-Geo teams. Like, oh yeah, AR-56 too, which makes kind of sense for not playing for 2 years. Like, this is a, you were dedicated to Ning for sure. I like it a lot. Oh yeah, you said you stopped playing, but duh, so you might not have been playing during Chiori banner. Yeah, Chiori or Xilonen, which we don't know exactly what Xylonen's kit is. It's just kind of like we have an indication. So, you might be getting some new toys to play around with Ningguang, but also like, Furina exists nowadays too. That could make Ningguang a lot stronger, etc., etc. Xilonen is going to power creep both Kazuha and Zhongli. How exactly do you think a character that has similarly restrictive setups for getting the res reduction would be power creep for Kazuha? Like, she would, with an invested build, what Xilonen seems like she's going to be is Kazuha, but you have to do crystallize instead of swirl. You still are going to have to do setups like you do a swirl, but they're going to be more awkward in some ways, and it's going to be less universal as far as teams. She's going to be more inclined towards like simpler, like maximum like 2-element teams usually. Like no, she's going to be like a Kazuha alternative. She's not going to power creep Kazuha. That's not how that works. Will she power creep Zhongli? I mean, for players like me, yes, but I hate Zhongli, so But I highly doubt she's going to do the defensive utility that Zhongli does, to be clear. But as far as buffing goes, duh. But that's because like defensive utility adds a value. Defensive characters should not buff as much as characters that are not focused on defense. Anyways, like it's just, yeah, whatever. Can you please look at DPS Siegewin and DPS Cloud? Sure. You know what? Double unconventional DPSs. Let's go. Let's go. Abyss. Slingshot. Interesting. Why? You just had no other. I mean, like, to be clear, HP scaling doesn't need high base attack, right? So it's just good crit static potentially. It's an option. Emblem. So again, same thing I said before. I do think, like, right, where DPS usually makes sense is like the same way where support usually makes sense is with Furina. If you don't have Furina, this is probably a very, very good DPS Siegewin build, to be clear though. So for non-Furina pairing Siegewin, very, very good. I like it. Although you have a bunch of attack. I'm assuming this is just you got unlucky. Yeah, you're doing HP Hydro crit. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it looks like a pretty dang good DPS Seijuin build for a non-Furina DPS Seijuin context. I should my spiel before about with Furina though. DPS Claverton. Solar Pearl. Solar Pearl, I think, requires, like, doing normal attacks, if I recall, to trigger the skill damage bonus. It's not a terrible option. Again, stat stick, whatever. You just might be worth considering other options. I also don't know if you have Furina, again, so... also, I've just noticed 4-piece Golden Troop. If you didn't know, 4-piece Golden Troop, the buff goes away after 2 seconds of being on field. So if you're like staying on field, plunge on Cloud Retainer, one, the plunge damage is not skill damage, just her skill is. So if your intention is just swap to her, do her skill quick, maybe. But also she has to like jump up for her maximum skill multiplier damage. She has to jump up in the air 3 times and then plunge down. And by the time she lands, that might be more than 2 seconds. I'm not sure. But it means you might not be getting the full 4-piece Golden Troop buff, and you might be much better served with doing 2-piece combos for DPS Cloud Retainer without Furina. And with Furina, you should almost assuredly farm for Marshals Hunters. So, yeah, that's kind of it. I don't think it's unusable by any means, especially for Overworld. But the 2-piece, the 4-piece combo might actually not make sense here. Nice Hu-Tao. Yeah, just a good Hu-Tao. Okay. DPS Kaveh semi EM build, so a spread Kaveh, I assume. Let's look at a spread Kaveh. Spread Kaveh, let's go. Hybrid Kokomi and Chevy. Ooh, look at that. Kaveh, Mailed Flower, EM. Okay, well. Kaveh ER check. The boy has a high ER cost and doesn't generate a ton of energy for himself. Even with Nahida, I don't know if this Kaveh is bursting very consistently. But as far as a 2-piece spread Kaveh build goes, actually no, you're doing, well, holy frick, the amount of EM you have. Where is it? Just for, oh, duh, from the Milled Flower. Okay, it's EM main stat Milled Flower, and then 2-piece EM, 2-piece EM. I assume you're trying to use him to generate the Bloom cores. Keep in mind that if you're using him with double Dendro, like you're doing Kaveh and Nahida to burst consistently, you should be applying enough Dendro that Kaveh is not the one whose EM is being used to calculate the Bloom damage. Right? The context in which Kaveh's EM is being used to calculate the Bloom damage is most likely the context in which you have just Kaveh's solo Dendro, in which case you don't have enough ER on him to burst consistently. To be able to actually keep up Dendro application, to keep up core generation. So, like, I think the build that makes sense for Kaveh is one in which you don't care about EM on him, as far as if you're trying to spec into his own Bloom shenanigans, even if it's not great. Like, if you want to spec into his kit, his Bloom shenanigans, I don't know. His kit is unintuitive. It makes you think he wants to be built for EM. But I don't think it's the best way to take advantage of this kit. If you actually want him to feel good, because usually Hydro units will oftentimes end up being the Bloom generator, especially in context with his ER needs. Now, if you meet his ER needs so he can be solo Dendro, then he might be the one generating the Bloom cores, depending on what Hydros you're paired with and whatever, but there's a very good chance as solo Dendro he is, and then his EM does matter. But then you're not really getting that much talent damage out of him, so... Although with how much crit you have, you probably are seeing pretty meaningful talent damage. Like, I don't know, right? Like, it seems to me that you might be better served by doing a crit weapon. And then doing, you know, with Nahida, and then your Hydro unit is the one generating your cores, right? And check out my DPS Kaveh video from a couple months ago. It's just weird, right? Because of it depends on who's triggering the actual reaction in the team. Yeah, this Sans is ridiculous. Get it out of my sight. What the frick is this artifact? Very good artifacts, right? It's just, is the EM actually doing that much for him to justify having that much EM? I don't know. If you're doing a spread Kaveh with Nahida, it's probably not that bad, to be clear. It just depends on what your other weapon options might be. You might actually be served better by another weapon, I'm not sure. Depends what you're doing. Shatterbloom Kaveh, maybe. Even though I'm not Russian, your Russian is pretty good. Does that mean you understand all the Russian and the Elia hides her feelings in Russian anime? Okay, just scanning through the chat. Chi-Chi and Lisa superconduct, need tips for Lisa. I mean, talk to Sylveon, but why are you doing superconduct? You don't. Superconduct is a thing you use to enable physical characters, Arctic Slimy, to be slightly less garbage. Not good, slightly less garbage. Like, if you want physical damage to be slightly less garbage, you do superconduct. And it's not something you spec damage into, right? Another Thundering Fury. Why? This is weird. Why is there so many people that are making the mistake of Thundering Fury Lisa? Also 5-piece Thundering Fury. And like, superconduct technically does its own instance of damage, but it's not relevant. Yeah. Yeah, talk to Lisa if you, or talk to Lisa, talk to Sylveon, same thing as saying talk to Lisa if you want advice and trying to make the most out of Lisa. She knows all the nuance and pains potentially of playing her, including probably at low constellations. Chances are, I'll save an HP timepiece, so I just feel like she's not, like, she's, if you're trying to get damage out of her, you can use her. She has a really big multiplier on her skill when you stack up all of her skill stacks. You can get her hold skill off. She can get a big damage multiplier out, right? In the same vein as I did with DPS Kirara today, right? She has a really big multiplier, which means you can just kind of spec her into that attack, that big attack scaling multiplier. Yeah, you wouldn't put an HP piece on her, ever. But your build might not be correct right now, I don't know. Obviously, it's just kind of got different things. This might be a case of you're prioritizing set bonuses over, like, stats. Like, remember, set bonuses give stats. Well, to be clear, Thundering Fury is the one set that does more than just giving stats. But not the one set, but it's like the most interesting set in the game because it reduces cooldown. It doesn't just give stats. It's far more interesting to think about. It's not relevant on Lisa as a 4-piece bonus, basically. And like, not relevant enough. It's not technically useless. And particularly as, you know, the earlier on for farming artifacts, the more you should just prioritize the right main stats and whatever smattering of decent substats, reaching ER thresholds, rather than worrying about completing set bonuses. But sometimes set bonuses can be worth completing. It just depends. It depends on how good the set bonuses are for a character. And in Lisa's case, it's not relevant enough to prioritize. And again, you basically never want to use the wrong main stats on characters, usually. And then Chi-Chi's, you know, I mean, physical Chi-Chi is a thing. You did Ocean Hue Clam. I wouldn't exactly say this is a superconduct Chi-Chi. It seems like a Ocean Hue Clam build. You probably need more ER, I think, on a Chi-Chi to really use her as a healer. But Ocean Hue Clam is not terrible. It's just, yeah, you wouldn't do an EM timepiece, but I can see why you might want to complete the set bonus, but yeah. Yeah, she needs ER. She's a rough character to build, I think. But I think you can find guides of like Ocean Hued Clam Chi-Chi builds if you want to look at what the stat requirements are. Just look them up online. Check out like a Chi-Chi quick guide on KQM or something. I'm sure they have information on that for ER thresholds to reach or whatever if you really want to use Chi-Chi for her like healing supportive utility. C6. I don't think I'm gonna look at your account skill C, but you're asking, can you look at anyone also Golden Trooper Mars? Should say if you're talking about for C6 Furina, C6 Furina doesn't let you stay on field that long with her, so realistically, still Golden Troop is better on C6 Furina, but also you could do kind of whatever at C6 Furina, to be honest. I think 2-piece HP might be better. Like 2-piece HP combos, 2-piece whatevers might be better for a C6 Furina overall, technically, if you're trying to maximize the damage you get from her C6 stuff. But again, she's not staying on field that long in most of her contexts. Like, you just keep her on a normal build and get some decent damage from her normal build. But if you really want to see more damage from her C6 stuff, then you can spec into that and not do Golden Troop. And you can do Marshal if you want. But, you know, if you want a more universal build, you wouldn't really bother. It's just some additional damage that you get out of Furina, and then she also turns into a team-wide healer. Like, C6 Furina is ridiculous, but, like, not for her damage contribution, in my opinion. A Sayu main. Sure, let's check out casting Sayu. I've been doing this for 2 hours already, what the heck. Sayu. There's Sayu, Wolf's Gravestone, C6, Triple Crown, good lord. 4-piece VV, interesting, nice, okay. So, hybrid Sayu? I like it. Yeah, I mean, if this is enough to burst consistently, and she's doing her supportive thing, and what damage, EM, you know. She has some weird EM scaling shenanigans. Weird. Yeah, it's like a weird hybrid-y Sayu. Huh. I have nothing really to say about it, because, like, man, without knowing, like, about all the things happening in the team, I can't say whether or not, you know, oh, do you really want to do an EM timepiece versus whatever? I don't know. This is a very interesting and cool build, though. Yeah. I don't know, very interesting. I don't have much thoughts on it, but I can't, like, make recommendations on it, having not experimented that highly with Sayu myself. This feels like a build that, you know, you probably played Sayu enough that you know it's what you want to do, right? All I can describe it as is a hybrid Sayu, meant to do, you know, VV things, meant to get some damage out of her, swirl or otherwise, right? I like it. I like it a lot. It's a no compromises build, other than the fact that, you know, her burst might be a little bit inconsistent in some teams. Compromise in that sense. Your account needs help to clear Abyss. I mean, I'm probably not going to be able to solve your problems just by looking at your characters. I mean, if you want Raiden to be useful for Abyss clearing on a normal account, not that a normal Raiden build can be useless. Like, you can do Raiden National, right, with Xingqiu. You probably would want a better build on her, probably without Katane. You probably, no, the Katane is useless. She only works with, like, every polearm in the game. But, yeah, I mean, your issue right now is, like, say if you're doing Raiden National, right? These builds, your Bennett build is good. Well, actually, it's not 4-piece Noblesse. You'd want to do 4-piece Noblesse, but the priority would be ER over 4-piece Noblesse. You don't really need the right main stats on Bennett. You don't need Pyro Damage Goblet. You don't need crit or healing bonus in particular for most Bennett teams. Healing bonus is nice for Furina, though, to be clear. So you might get more value with forcing 4-piece Noblesse. He's a rare case where forcing the 4-piece set bonus is beneficial for, like, you know, Raiden DPS, whatever. Or your Xiongling damage. But yeah, like, Raiden National is a team that wants to be played in a really specific way. Like, you'd have to look up guides for, like, Raiden National, but, like, other than that, what's Raiden's options for a normal build like this? I mean, you can do Chevreuse, which is basically doing, you know, the same doing Bennett, Chongling, Raiden, but then Chevreuse instead of Xingqiu. That might be a more accessible, easy to play option for you if you have a C0 Chevreuse. Your Xiongling build, but, like, realistically, your blockers are, like, Xiangling's build being not great. Not dysfunctional. You have a good chunk of AR, like, you know what you're doing as far as energy goes. It's just, yeah, it takes a lot of investment, right, to get National to feel not garbage, in my opinion, and I also really hate how it plays, personally. So, like, if you want to get use out of Raiden, for example, for clearing Abyss, you could be better served by Hyper Bloom. Sadly, that's how they designed Raiden's C0 kit, basically. There's a reason I like a hybrid Raiden so much, is because it's the best of all worlds. and makes her hyper versatile to be used in a lot of different teams. You have Furina, which is really good. Obviously, this looks like a pretty good Furina build overall. As long as you're bursting consistently on her, you're kind of good to go. And then it's just a factor of, like, you know, are you using a team-wide healer and you're using Jean? So like struggles in Abyss might be coming down to you may I don't know what the rest of your account looks like. It's really hard to judge. And this is a really hard Abyss cycle currently. But like it's about whatever flexibility you have. Oh, sorry for the yawn. Flexibility you have for dealing with the like shields, oftentimes flexibility you have with how you can adapt to new ways with different teams. This is a really punishing Abyss chamber or Abyss cycle, particularly with Chamber 1. So other than that, it's just like it's obvious you are a little bit lower investment, right? For the characters you have shown here. You probably want an EM circlet on your Kazuha, but keeping 4-piece VV is significantly more important than having EM circlet for most Kazuha's use cases. Same story for his circlet here. If you want Kazuha to be the most useful, like he is traditionally useful for, you know, full EM, sometimes with ER, depending on the team he wants to burst. Sometimes ER timepiece instead of EM, but yeah, you know, getting an EM goblet. But you strike me as a player that has not farmed a ton for artifacts, right? So like you know what you're doing overall. Oh, and your Xiangling, okay, this is another thing. Xiangling, Raiden National with Xiangling without C4, like I don't even care. Like I've used Xiangling a lot on an account, my weapon only account. I use Xiangling a lot without having her C4, and I think she's kind of without C4. So, you know, in conjunction with like her energy needs and investment needed, like not technically useless, but like that is potentially part. If you're just like, you know, you looked up Raiden's best teams and you're using Raiden National and you're struggling, that's like, it's partly investment level is not to the point where National starts to feel really good, but it's also partly just no C4 Xiangling, right? So yeah, I don't know. I wish I had better advice for you than you know, need to farm more artifacts. Like other than farming artifacts, you know, watch the likes of Zajeff's videos, in my opinion, or whatever other people you like that are actually delving into the mechanics of Genshin and learning about the mechanics of Genshin, or other creators that might focus on showing you like how like enemies work, like how you can like group enemies in Abyss in order to deal with situations like oftentimes just like how well you can play, how well you can like utilize how these enemies behave and whatever can cause you to clear faster more than like having higher DPS in your character sometimes. So yeah, it's a work in progress. It takes time. So anyways, Squishy Chin Chin, you give me 20 euros for hybrid Kokomi and Chevy just for fun. Sure, yeah, let me look at that. I think I mentioned that before and I think I forgot. I'm sorry. Thank you for the 20 euros though. Alright, hybrid Kokomi and ooh, this is a hybrid. We'll look at Kokomi in a second. Huh. I've not tried the for anyone that doesn't know, Chevreuse does not have HP scaling damage, right? But Homa technically does give her some extra damage for extra attack for her HP. So, you know, that's kind of where the hybrid is coming in here. It's very interesting. You managed to get 40k HP with a crit rate circlet on Homa, right? With 4 pieces of this set. This is very, very interesting. Like this takes an annoying amount of farming for like a questionable benefit. Like if I'm doing a damage focused Chevreuse, I don't really care about her buff as much, and I'll have like a 25,000 HP Chevreuse, which is still some attack buffing, right? And then do like 2-piece combos usually and try to maximize her personal damage contribution. And like with C4 you can get 3 skills out of her, right? Yeah, I don't know. You do want to burst consistently for DPS Chevreuse, so this might not be enough ER, but it depends on the team. This is a really cool approach to Chevreuse. I've not considered doing this because it doesn't seem like it's actually worth the effort to farm for me. But as far as the idea of a universal Chevreuse build goes, wherein it's a Chevreuse that will always give 40% attack, and always buff a little bit with the Song of Days Past set, and be able to deal some consistently decent damage when you feel like you need it. I don't know. It's kind of cool, right? Especially if you're playing Bennett with Chevreuse, right? You'd have a bunch of attack anyways, so like it's not as bad. You're not necessarily losing as much as you might think from having HP main stack kind of thing. I don't know. It's a really, really cool idea. I like it a lot, Squishy. I like it a lot. I don't know if I'll ever be able to like do this in my account without spending a lot of time in this domain. But it's a very cool idea. I really, really do like it. And this should become meaningfully better to do, by the way, when I'm assuming you'll try to get C6 eventually. When you get C6 Chevreuse, because C6 Chevreuse increases she gets a team-wide heal after her skill is done healing. And that makes it so you proc this even higher. Not to mention the damage bonus, which could benefit Chevreuse or other units, right? So, I don't know. I like it a lot. I like it a lot. It's really, really cool, the fact that you're able to get to 40k HP with this build. Kokomi. Oh, yeah. Kokomi. Coco fish. So, flop. Interesting. So, I'm assuming this is like a hybrid Kokomi build for Nilu Bloom, right? Have a lot of EM and substats. Like, that's a lot of EM and substats, right? But then, so the goal is like to have a Kokomi that, like, because I have my Kokomi, right, is on a flop build, and occasionally I do use Kokomi, not super often, but occasionally I do use Kokomi in normal Kokomi ways. Can I have my mouse? Where's the fish? Where's the fishy fish? There's a Coco fish. Okay. So I have a 4B slot build, right? But this is a full RS EM build, right? Not enough ER to burst consistently. Just maximum bloom damage build. I still use her like normal occasionally, but obviously she isn't performing quite to the level she can perform. So again, that's the same idea, right? Having a more universal build that you can slaughter into slaughter into a Nilu team and it still performs well. Or still have her doing good healing things, like, yeah, you lose the damage from Ocean Hue Clam or whatever, but I don't know. I really like the idea of doing this. This is something I should actually consider doing on my Kokomi, because I have been occasionally using, like, this current Abyss cycle, right, I've been using Kokomi more notably, because boy is having some extra hydro nice. And I have noticed her lack of performance in some ways because of my hyper-focused Nilu build versus your more both the best worlds approach. So I really like it a lot. I like what you're doing, Swishy. It's very cool. So yeah, these kinds of hybrid builds take a lot of more investment. So it's not like ever things that you just recommend, in my opinion. And they're because they're like, particularly because they're never optimal in one situation usually, in a given situation. But the fact that they can be more than usable in many situations makes them very compelling, in my opinion, and it's something that people don't discuss very often. That I like it a lot. Alright. I'm gonna look at yours. Navia is your best, so you can check anyone. Raiden has a lot to improve. I mean, do you have something I need to actually help with or whatever? Because, like, just looking at artifacts is not like the goal of these, in my opinion, to make them valuable for, like, giving my knowledge to people. My goal isn't just to rag on people. Sometimes I do because it's funny, whatever. Memoria Chroma. Top 18% Arlecchino, you need advice. Alright, sure. You know, see, that's what I want. I'm curious what this looks like. Oh, can you work copying? There we go. Echoes is an interesting choice. So, part of the reason you might be seeing top 18% on Akasha for an Echoes build on Arlecchino is because Akasha might not be calculated in the 4-piece bonus of Echoes, right? It's not theoretically useless on her. I think particularly with C1 giving her even stronger scaling. I think Echoes is bad compared to Gladiators. Like, I don't know. I would strongly consider checking what Gladiators pieces you have in your Arlecchino. Especially with C1 versus your Echoes build. Like, it's not a bad Echoes build. And also, I don't know how your ping is where you are, right? If you go over 50, is it 100? It's either 50 or 100 ping. The Echo set actually stops working. I think it's 100 ping. The Echo set actually stops functioning for the 4-piece, which is, you know, cool. Yeah, I don't know. Play around with what you have. You're presumably, if you have these quality artifacts, you have some other artifacts that you could mix around with, even 2-piece combos. It's possible that might be better for your Arlecchino than doing 4-piece Echoes, right? But yeah, like, it's not a bad build by any means. I tested 4-piece Echoes on my Poem only account, and it was weird. It just like, and this was with C0 Arlecchino, right? And it felt fine most of the time, but then like I would compare it to like 2-piece combos, and it was just like the same. So like, why bother with the 4-piece set, right? Which has weirdness with its uptime and the way it triggers the normal attack buff. It's just like, it's weird. So I can't recommend it, even if it's not like a useless 4-piece combo on her, is my present feeling. I think you'd be a lot better served with other artifact combos. And I don't think you necessarily have to farm for it, just like Gladiators or whatever, or 2-piece combos. What was the other one you wanted? Your Raiden. I mean, it's an Emblem Raiden at C0. Your build looks pretty good. Yeah, your build looks very good for an Emblem engulfing Raiden. So like, Raiden's performance is going to come down less to her build and more to your teams you're using her in, realistically, and how good those teams are for a given situation. Like, if you're doing Raiden National, a lot of it might be down to how you're playing them and how invested your Xingqiu, this is a very good Xingqiu, how invested your Xingqiu, your Xiangling is, etc., right? I don't like traditional Raiden because I think her teams are very limited. But this is a good Raiden build. Your build is not the problem, is my point. Your issues would be how well the team is at how well the team can function in different situations, and how I'm having a stroke. Well, yeah, just basically that, honestly. Just, yeah, how well invested the rest of the teammates are, and how good the team is in a given situation. Oh, and maybe like your knowledge again on like how to deal with the particular like Abyss enemy setup or whatever. So like, there's nothing to improve on the build itself here, though, if in the context of using Raiden normally. And if you want more options, you know, if you don't have Chevreuse, if she ever shows up on a banner again, it might be worth trying to get a C0 Chevreuse to give Raiden some more options for a traditional build. C0 Chevreuse, in my opinion, helped Raiden a lot for giving her some more compelling reasons to be used in teams that are less annoying to play, in my opinion, than National. I like Chevreuse for Raiden a lot. Even for Ayato, I think it's better to farm Glad or Heart of Death because they're more stable and domains are just more efficient. Yeah, I agree. Vape Hypercarry, DPS Nilou. I'm not sure. Let's look at another Nilou for funsies. Looked at one earlier, but I like me some Vape Nilous. Cave Casual Suit Vape Nilou. Oh my god. Oh, it's a C6. Jesus, that's why. Okay. So it's adding the crit rate from C6. So like, otherwise like 100% crit rate, 240 crit damage. I don't think that would actually be possible without her C6, to be clear, without a crit weapon, right? Keep Casual Suit does not give crit. So this amount of crit is not possible with a non-crit weapon. It's C6 doing this. Jesus. Yep, Jesus. This is a freaking wailed out, absolutely wailed out monster Vape Nilou using C6 Nilou. In case anyone didn't see, I had a Vape Nilou video recently, though. You absolutely do not need C6 to vape with Nilou. She does really like high investment things, but you don't need to go this high investment to start doing fun Vape Nilou things. That's part of the problem I have with the like community rhetoric around like, oh, that's a C6 that lets you DPS the off-field character. Like, no. You are just limiting your mindset too much if you think you need C6s to DPS off-fielders or DPS characters, or use characters in ways that they weren't intended to in their base kit, whatever. High investment things are very much oftentimes wanted in some form to help you enable to do that, but you don't need, there's a very, very, very big difference between like having some strong supportive, you know, having weapons that enable you to have, you know, more unconventional builds be viable, or having strong supportive constellations like, say, I think C2 Nahida was meaningfully helpful in my Vape Neuvillette video, right? Like, or having Key of Conscious Suit at all was helpful with how I was doing Vape Neuvillette, but it wasn't like any one of those individual things wasn't necessarily needed, but like some conjunction of them and the total conjunction of them was definitely making a difference, and it was a lot lower investment than doing this, right? So anyways, I respect the dedication to Neuvillette, but I want to emphasize that I don't like reinforcing the community rhetoric around like, you need C6 for this to be viable. Frick no. So anyways, cool Neuvillette build, I respect it. Xiao, sure, let's look at a Xiao. Let's look at just a normal Xiao build, right? I was gonna look at the Xiao build, but it disappeared. There we go. Let me look at your Xiao Marina. Marina. I read it correctly, I think. Red Melt Rosaria. Ooh, I want to look at a Red Melt Rosaria, actually. Ooh, 4-piece Vermilion Xiao. Interesting. With this, interesting. Wait, no, there's a two. I lied. 2-piece Vermilion Xiao. Okay. Alright, your AR-56. Okay. So 4-piece Vermilion might be worth. But it also might be a lot more resin efficient for you to do, you know, Marsh Say Hunters on him, and it's a lot easier to build, right? Like, getting that free crit rate means you can very easily do... Oh, you're doing an attack percent circlet, I just noticed. You can do a crit damage circlet. Like just the right main stats on Marsh Say Hunters on Xiao is such an easy way to get him to perform pretty okay. Ultimately, Xiao's main problem is like most crit-based anime DPS is for him to feel really compelling in the long term. Like, I'm talking like in like floor 12 Abyss kind of thing. C6 Faruzan is really desirable. It kind of sucks. That's the state of animo crit DPSs in the game. Otherwise, you can just try to play to his strengths. You know, you can use Furina and Bennett with him, right? I'm just saying, if you're farming Vermilion, it might not be worth farming Vermilion. And you have this one really good Vermilion piece, but this could be a useful off piece for any number of characters, including Xiao potentially. It's probably not worth it to farm Vermilion. This domain, at least. It might be worth it to get through Strongbox. You have a very good Goblet. Yeah. I don't know. You might be better served, of course, by doing 2-piece combos. You probably want to do a crit damage circlet. I don't think this attack percent circlet is good enough to use realistically. There are contexts like if you're not playing Xiao with Bennett, it's possible attack circlet could be quite compelling, but you know, if you were able to get a crit damage circlet even without much crit rate, or a crit damage, just like the test, for example, if you have just the right main stat, like this is a mistake players make, where like the main stat on the circlet is the most valuable stat on the circlet, right? Even if you get something stupid like, I don't know, 15% crit rate on your circlet, right, on a crit damage circlet, that means your total crit rate is twice, you know, two times crit rate plus crit damage is the crit value. A crit damage circlet with 15% crit rate, which would be an insanely good circlet, is 90 crit value. 2/3 of the crit value from your circlet is just the main stat, right? The vast majority of the value you get from a circlet, even with really good circlets, is the main stat. So like this build, if you just complete if you do a 2-piece bonus, so you have 2-piece Vermilion, 2-piece of Echoes, right, and then have a crit damage main stat, you might see your Xiao start performing a lot better. Is probably my overall thoughts as far as a simple, approachable thing that you might just have a crit damage circlet with garbage substats that you just didn't consider leveling up, or maybe you threw it away, and that would be unfortunate. But like, yeah. I don't know, when you don't have any of the, like the first priority is the main stat, and then substats come after, generally speaking. And I'm guessing you've spent enough in this domain that you probably have seen a compelling enough piece. But anyways, this timepiece is also not good enough. That's why I also suggested like maybe Marshall is just better for you, whatever. I don't know. Especially with how this could be improved. What was I gonna say? I was gonna do. There's something else I said I was gonna look at, but I forgot. Oh, it was a Mount Rosaria. Where's the Mount Rosaria? Gotta find it. Sorry, I want to look at Mount Rosaria. Oh frick, where was it? I don't remember who it was that did it. Oh, I found it. Wait, you do. Let me do it. Rev Mount Rosaria. I want to see this. Realistically, there is a ceiling for Rev Mount Rosaria. And I think you have basically hit it. Not completely. Like you can get more crit damage, right? Right. By the way, Rosaria gives her some free crit, right? Realistically, like getting constellations is going to be some of the most noticeable improvement for your Rosaria at this point. Have a good chunk of ER, right? You do need to burst consistently on her. You have Staff of Scarlet Sands. You have a very healthy amount of EM. Yeah. Wait, why does it say you have 267 EM? Oh, because it's assuming 4-piece Gilded Dreams. Okay, yeah. Yeah, you're at the point where it's kind of hard to improve other than like getting a better Cryo Goblet kind of thing, right? That would be the most likely circumstance, or getting a better Circlet. But realistically, since your main issue is just having a little bit low crit damage, like getting like perfecting this build would basically be turn this flat attack into 3 crit damage rolls, and then you're at like 180 crit damage, right? But you don't need to farm Gilded Dreams anymore for that. It would just be like when a Cryo Goblet eventually shows up, and hopefully it rolls well, kind of thing, right? Right. It might be worth in your circumstance, even if you get a Cryo Goblet that doesn't have crit rate, it could be worth considering. But yeah, all your artifacts other than your Goblet are pretty good, and the Circlet can be improved. But I don't know. Maybe you could try to like go for more Gilded Dreams, maybe when we have strong box. But yeah, realistically, like your Mount Rosaria's performance is going to be more tied to your team composition more than anything else. If we get in Natland some meaningful Pyro Applier options, maybe, hopefully, we'll see. We might have better flexibility for creating melt teams that only need 1 Pyro unit. Like we don't have to do the Bennett Rosaria core, but doing something like, if you want like the strongest melt team, I think that I would use with Rosaria. Like I use Zhongli on my Poem only account. I use Zhongli Melt Rosaria with a similar build to yours. I think slightly better, but not crazily. Chungling on Solo Pyro, like Engulfing Lightning build, Rosaria, Shenhe, Zhongli. Doing Shenhe, Rosaria, Bennett, Chungling should be better significantly. Rosaria does Snapshot Bennett buff, and then Bennett plus Chungling. Chungling doesn't need 300 ER like she does on my Polearm only account. Yeah, it's basically just like new teammate options, potentially future characters that we don't know what their kit looks like could be valuable. Shenhe could be valuable enough for you if you're really dedicated to it. I really like Melt Rosaria with Shenhe. You can check out some of my Polearms only series if you want to see footage of that. Yeah. So I don't know. Like the artifacts themselves are not you're basically right? I mean, there's not much to improve from here, artifact wise. Okay. Oh, donation. Check your Kaveh and Wander. Sure. Thank you for the TRY. Try is a nice abbreviation for a currency. No idea what it is. Okay. What was I looking at? Kaveh and Wander. Okay. Wander is easy. Play him. Yep. That's a Wanderer build. That's a very good Wanderer build. But it's also still kind of bad if you don't have C6 Faruzan. Because that's what Wander needs. Yay. Yeah, your artifacts are ridiculous. It's just a question of like, do you have C6 Faruzan? This is a ridiculous build otherwise. Kaveh. Ooh. C6 Kaveh. Okay, you built him for EM. And yeah, Jesus. Okay, I mean, Alright. This amount of ER with this amount of EM, it's the same thing we saw in that build earlier, right? It's very impressive. Like, this is a Kaveh build that can be solo Dendro Kaveh and generating him his blooms and popping his blooms, right? It's not easy to get a Kaveh to a build to this point, but you can definitely do it. Yeah. And this is also a Kaveh that would work potentially better as solo Dendro in like a Nilu team too. It's a pretty yeah, it's a ridiculous combo of amount of EM and ER. Not easy to get a Kaveh build to this point, or just any build that has this combination of EM and ER, right? And it's very, very good. I respect it. Respect the dedication. It's still Kaveh, so it's still potentially going to struggle in many ways. But it's very good. Oh gosh, no donations are taking priority. I'm sorry. Thank you, Sonic, for the two pounds. Can I copy this properly? All right. Control C. Kazuha C1 hybrid and old build for Yolon. Are you able to donate your weapons, characters, etc.? I don't think I have the ability to do that, unfortunately. C1 Kazuha. I like C1 Kazuha. It's super fun. Although, notably, the thing with C1 Kazuha, if you want it to be useful, you gotta burst. So this is a hybrid build, obviously. This amount of EM is pretty good. We just have, it's just the EM from... Wait, where's... No, I'm confused. Why does Enka say this is... Oh, he ascends with EM. I'm a twit. I was like, 200, 187, not 500, right? That's, my brain was farting, but yeah, he ascends with EM. So yeah, I really like hybrid Kazuha, to be clear. Your only real issue is, like, you know, not being able to burst consistently in many teams. There's many contexts where Kazuha really wants to burst, right? But other than that, you know, it's a hybrid Kazuha. It gets some decent crit damage, still buffs a good amount of damage bonus, still does VV shred, and should see some decent talent damage from him. I like it. Yeah. Old build for Yolon as well. Oh yeah. Two piece. What the frick? What's going on here? You are not running Martial Hunters. You should probably have more crit rate than this. So swap this to a crit rate circlet, and you got a pretty strong Aqua build in Yolon, other than the fact that you're bursting once every century. You know, so more ER, more crit rate. You're right. Crit damage is a stat that's doing, you know, you're losing a very, very high amount of the value of your crit damage stat from your weapon, from your substats, by having this low crit rate. So, yes. Hello, Tito. My butt is starting to hurt, by the way, but I'm almost done streaming because I'm going to go play Elden Ring soon. My cutoff was 3 hours, so I've been going for 2 hours and 40 minutes. Starting to lose my energy. I can feel it. I look at the chat the whole time. God, this is a stressful thing. This is why I haven't done this. Like, in the future, I would like to do these more because I think they are interesting, but again, I think I would like to do maybe more like a account fixing style of these videos that are more limited in focus, so it's not just this happening the whole time. But I don't know, money wise, like, this is the most money I've made in a stream in a while. Like, I should do more of them, I guess. It's just, I don't know, it feels weird for me. It feels weird, but I don't know, it's just like, it's kind of my job, so, you know. Red Eye to know, thank you for the two pounds. Arlecchino and Nuvia advice. Okay. Let's do Nuvia first. Have a good chunk of ER. Yeah, it's yep. I mean, if you're struggling with this Nuvia build, sorry. If you're struggling with this Nuvia build, it might be because, like, you know, if you're pairing him with Furina, I suspect you probably don't have many ER needs. Although if you're pairing with Furina, I suspect your Furina is having ER needs, like always. Furina needs to burst consistently. You should get an ER type piece for your Furina. Then she's probably fine for double Hydro. She's probably not fine for solo Hydro even then. But, you know, right? Yeah, but anyways, if you're not pairing him Neuvillette with Furina, he might have more ER needs than this, even with his signature weapon refunding ER. Ultimately, you know, whatever teams you're using on Neuvillette, like Neuvillette, I prefer Rainbow teams over Furina teams with him. Although this Abyss cycle with Chamber 2 in particular pushes you a little bit towards Sorry, not chamber 2. Chamber 1 second half. Pushes you towards, you know, double hydro being nice for clearing the electric shields. So, not like I'm saying you never do double hydro, right? I just like doing, you know, things like Neuvillette, Fischl, Kazuha, a Dendro unit to enable aggravates on them, right? And then you're doing rainbow teams, fully triggering his passive to get good damage out of him, yada yada. It's just, if you're doing rainbow teams, his ER can be a little bit high, actually. So build-wise, that's the only potential problem, is my point. It depends on the team you're playing him in. But other than that, like, the stats you have are very, very, very good. You have a very strong Neuvillette. The problem he has is not his artifacts. It's other than, like, his potential ER needs. And I suspect the problem you might be seeing with Neuvillette, if you're playing him with Furina, is your Furina's build, actually, right? It's like yeah, ooh, we got a lot of crit here, but, like, you need ER. This character does not make any sense without ER. Without bursting. This entire character's kit breaks down fundamentally if you do not burst consistently. So, the only thing she's doing is Hydra application if she's not bursting consistently, and some damage. But, like, she loses a lot of personal damage not bursting consistently. And the Hydra application ain't exactly relevant that much in a double Hydra Neuvillette team. I mean, it's not irrelevant, but, like, you get the same Hydra application with bursting consistently as you do not bursting consistently. So, you know, yeah, I suspect this might be your problem more than anything. Force goes, welcome to my bosses. Who is that? I've never heard of that dude. Thanks for joining the membership, Levi. I appreciate it. This is a very good Whimsy build. Like, this is a new artifact set, right? Newish. It's been out for a little while, of course. But it takes a while to get this quality of artifacts on Whimsy. You also have, this is more, with the amount of EM you have, you definitely have a little bit of inclination towards a Vape build for Arlecchino, which is fine. There's not much to improve here. Again, this would just be, like, you also have C1. So there's not much to improve here other than just, like, maybe exploring different team options for her if you're not happy with her performance. But realistically, your artifacts shouldn't be the problem. So, you know, consider maybe some different team compositions. You know. How can I get reviewed? I mean, by mentioning a character and something that I think is interesting to look at. You know, some people have mentioned Gaming. I actually want to look at a Gaming, so we'll look at your Gaming, new Luffy. And Levi, I will join you guys for Elden Ring in about 13 minutes. I said I was going to stream for 3 hours, so 3 hours is my cutoff point, so I don't lose my sanity. Let's look at your C6 Gaming. Okay, I was going to say maybe more current rate, but I forgot he uses Marachese, especially with Furina. But I think you can use Marachese without Furina, although I think he needs C1 for it to be, you know, comfortable with his HP, because I think he's kind of HP negative and it can be awkward in a little bit weird ways. But yeah, Marachese build, obviously pretty good. Serpent Spine, R1. Yep, the one question is, you know, I don't know the team you're using him in. I don't recall off the top of my head what his ER needs look like, especially at C6, because does the C4 refund energy? I don't remember if his C4 refunds energy or not, but I don't know what his ER needs look like for you, right? If you're bursting consistently, it's fine. But you need to burst consistently with the dude. So, you know, yeah, that. And then obviously C6 Bennett, which I feel like you're a non-C6 Bennett activator. Could benefit him as well. And that could actually help with the ER needs potentially, because you can just do infused plunges potentially with Cloud Retainer, although I don't know if you have Cloud Retainer kind of thing, right? Not that you need Cloud Retainer for Gaming, she's just a compelling teammate option. So yeah, I don't know. C6 Gaming is a pretty strong pyro carry. You have a good build going. There's not much to improve here other than potential ER needs depending on the team you're playing. And yeah, pretty good. I like it. ER is always the main consideration with any character who has it. Burst is an important component of their kit, and he does. How do I get the Souls Bosses role? Ping me or Sylveon on Discord. We can give you the Souls Bosses role for anyone that is a member on my channel and does not have the role. It has to be manually added. I don't have any bots set up that automatically gives it on my Discord server, but... Do you need more EM on your Hatham, and is the ratio good for 2-piece, 2-piece? Let me check. We'll look at your Hatham. The answer to, like, do you need more insert stat here is, you know, probably no, but, like, put as much as the valuable stats that you have as what you have, right? Like, put whatever the best equipment you have on your character is. The question is, like, do you have better combinations of artifacts that could give you more EM? There's not, like if you play Star Rail, Genshin is not like Star Rail, where, like, Star Rail is just, like, reach breakpoints, yay, like, every fucking stat in Star Rail. Like, sorry, I really hate how breakpoint focused Star Rail is. It's like if you're frustrated by Genshin having, like, you have to, like, reach ER breakpoints, Star Rail's equipment experience is basically reach ER breakpoints, but also reach 5 other stat breakpoints sometimes. Not always. It's usually not that many, but you get, you know. I freaking hate how they design the equipment system and design character kits in Star Rail to require reaching breakpoints so much. It's freaking awful. The only breakpoint stat in Genshin is really ER, and even then ER is kind of more, a little bit more nuanced than just reaching breakpoints, right? So anyways, the main thing you could be served by is just having more crit rate, but that's kind of a common problem with him and his signature weapon. You have very good artifacts overall. Like if you're really trying to improve your algorithm anymore, you know, doing 4-piece Guild of Dreams could be a slight improvement, but is it really worth farming for? Right. Like if you're able to, I don't know. I don't think your algorithm build is at a point where you need to improve much past this. The real only thing you would maybe notice is just higher crit rate would give you significantly higher consistency than his damage output, and you might notice that, right? So it might be worth swapping around your artifacts for more crit rate. Your EM is definitely not the problem, though. But overall, it's a pretty healthy 2-piece build, I would say. Just a little bit, like, inconsistent with the crit rate, so, you know. Look at your Dory and your plunge attack Ito. I would Abyss, but I already looked at your stuff, I think. I kind of want to look at your Pyro Plunge Ito just to anger the Ito peoples of the world. Shotgun Venti. What is Shotgun Venti? And DPS Shenna. I'll look at yours, Justin. Let's see. Oh, wait, not Justin. Just the Blueberry. Different name. Different words mean different things. Mars did a dono. Oh, I'm sorry. Where? I'm sorry, Mars. I didn't. Yeah, this is why I said. Okay. I don't see it. I didn't scroll back. Okay, Mars, if you're still here, you know, either message me on Discord or yeah. Oh my God, that's why it's C6. Okay. Yep. Message me on Discord if you need. Yeah, I know C1 Venti gives them the additional arrow things. Like, but yeah, Jesus. Interesting. Why are you doing? Oh, you're doing Pale Flame. Oh, I see. Okay. Why attack? Why attack Goblet? Did you find that was better just for your artifacts? It's interesting. If so, it might be better, right? I don't know. Especially doing like Furina, whatever. Mars Dona was during the Arlecchino and Nuvillette count. I mean, okay, that doesn't help me find the donation because YouTube deleted it, I think. It doesn't, I don't have a permanent record of things. Wait, do I? Oh, let me check. I might be able to switch it, actually. Give me a second. But yeah, Mars, if you're still here, you can also just message me directly or ping me on my Discord server if I don't see the message either. What was I else? Oh, yes, Shenhe. Yep, this is an interesting build. Obviously, it's very, very good for a physical machine gun build. It's not something I ever personally really want to do for bow characters. I hate doing RR canceling. And I don't want to set up a macro for doing machine gun stuff either. But it's cool. It's a cool thing to spec into. I like it a lot. I'm just curious about the attack percent piece here versus a physical damage piece. I guess you know what it's for? It's because it's just so you get like more damage out of his burst, probably, I assume. Freeze Shenhe, huh? Interesting. As far as free Shenhe goes, this should be a pretty dang good free Shenhe. When Shenhe comes back, I intend to do a hybrid Shenhe, wherein she's doing a bunch of different things. I don't know what weapon I'll end up using on her. Maybe Emily's weapon. Maybe Staff of Scarlet Sands. The idea is like doing melt DPS and getting melts both on Pyro. Like it'll be really weird. I really hope it works well. I'm quite optimistic about hybrid Shenhe being quite compelling. But yeah, I mean, if you're bursting consistently, and this should be a pretty strong freeze Shenhe. You're probably the max of what you can get free Shenhe to do, realistically. Let's see. Can I switch to this? Oh, sweet. Oh, sweet. You can. You can just switch to a super chat only tab. All right, Mars. Sorry. I found your thing. I'm so sorry. Mars, top 3% Diluc. Want to know what to focus on when farming, whether it's even correct. Any advice is appreciated. Thank you very much. Blam. Alright, hopefully Mars is still here. Oh wait, oops, I did top chat. No, I want to do... Oh, that's fine. Okay. Alright, Diluc, Verdit, huh? Interesting. C2 Diluc, nice. 4 Crimson. Yeah, I mean, the only realistic things I imagine you could improve for him would be if you wanted to start speccing into, like, Marseille Hunters, right? With Furina. I have not messed with it personally. Diluc's a little bit of an undertuned character, I would say, wherein, like, he doesn't have the strong multipliers that you would want to make Pyro DPSs feel really good. Which means the situation with Diluc is kind of the situation with like DPSing 4 stars, quite frankly. Wherein it's like, what combinations of strong supports are you using to make them viable? My point with this is like, your artifacts are not the problem. Your artifacts are really good. You could consider trying some different artifacts like Marsha says, but it's really not the problem. And like Marsha say would probably not even be that much better than this build with how invested your Crimson build is, right? If you wanted to try him like with a Chevreuse team, you might want to consider an attack percent timepiece maybe instead, kind of thing, right? I guess because he wouldn't be vaping in that context. But I don't know. He's an interesting character. It's just unfortunate he's a little bit undertuned. So the approach is basically what strong enablers do you pair with him to make him feel good as just a decent on-field option. But he's not going to be, you know, Arlecchino ever. There's nothing you can do to make him Arlecchino. So, you know, that's all I can really offer, unfortunately, is just, you know, consider getting more different teammates that could enable you to use them in different teams, because that's what I enjoy, right? For using characters, particularly the characters I like the most, is I like to be able to use them in different ways, not just making one team that they're good in, right? That's my general advice, I'd say. And you have Furina. Don't know if you have Cloud Retainer. Cloud Retainer is a good compelling option. If you're insane, go check out Tars Blamo's video on Dragon Strike Noelle. If you're insane, you can do Plunge DPS Diluc without Cloud Retainer. But I want to emphasize, if you're insane, go check out Tars Blamo's Dragon Strike Noelle video to see an example of it. I only have a few more builds I can look at. I'm gonna cut off. I'm gonna look at 2 more. Okay, so I gotta be picky here. Yeah, not Dragon Strike. I don't recommend Dragon Strike, but you can do it. Trying to build on-field Chiori. Should you stop farming? Mars, you just... wait. No, that was meta. Sorry. What do you even do for on-field Chiori? Oh, no, she has Geo Infusion. I forgot. The problem with her Geo Infusion... I mean, you can play her with Bennett, I guess. The answer whether you should stop farming is, does she perform well enough for you to feel happy about? I suspect on-field Chiori is going to be a circumstance of what teammates are using with her more than anything else. Right. I just had to, like, move my foot for some reason. I had my foot, like, sideways and I was, like, putting weight on it. Very dumb. How to ruin your bones. Oh my god. Newbie, I want advice on playing since March of this year. Sorry for earlier. I fixed Yaoyao, Kazuha, Furina. Oh, you're saying you didn't have them on the correct build before? I mean, I looked at your account before, so I don't want to look at your account again. Sorry. But I don't remember exactly what I had mentioned. But, you know, check out my Discord server. There's a build help section if you do have further questions. You know, there's me or other smart people that have knowledge about the game can help you there. Not just my Discord server. There's plenty of Discord servers and whatever communities you can find that could help you. Okay, God, chat is moving too fast. Just some bad builds. You know what? Fine. We'll do. This is going to be our second to last one from Wims XD here. Oh my God. Let me copy it. Thank you, YouTube. Oops, wrong button. Bad builds, huh? Doesn't seem bad. I mean, maybe not a Navia for Soul Hydro, but not bad. That's not bad. That's pretty dang good. What do you mean bad builds? What are you on? What are you smoking? You're even doing TF chlorine. Let's go. Pretty decent. This is a non-crit rate weapon, right, on chlorine. So very good build. Nilu build. Yep, that's a Nilu build. Yep. What do you mean bad builds? I just got tricked. What is wrong with you? Get out of here. Freaking liar. Dang liar. But, you know, at least you did Thundering Fury. So, you know. Chongyun support sub DPS. Should you change your EM goblet? I don't think there's ever any time or reason to do an EM goblet on Chongyun. So chances are, yes, you should use an attack. If you're doing DPS Chongyun or support Chongyun, she should use an attack goblet. The difference is fully support Chongyun just wants, you know, attack ER. A DPS Chongyun can do attack but wants substats of crit, right? Alright, this one did not count as the second to final, by the way. This was cheating. Can you help? Child International? I mean, I don't know that much about Child International. I showed some Child earlier. Like, Child is, you know, is your crit to a point where he's performing well, and then are you playing the team properly, kind of thing. I do believe Child National requires playing the team pretty properly, so you might want to keep that in mind. Another Siege Queen and crit coke. You know what? Let's look at crit coke, and then we can look at the Siege Queen too. Sure. This is the second last one. Okay. Crit Kokomi. What? Of course. Why, Enka? Do you think Crit Kokomi is not a thing? How well performing my one Crit Kokomi video is speaks otherwise. It doesn't even show the crit right here. God freaking dang it. Okay. Math it myself. Marshall say 36. We got 30. That's 76. We got plus the 5 base crit rate, minus 100, right? So 81. This is the 112. 122. Frick you, Enka. 130. All right, you got like 30% crit rate. Okay, it's not great. To be clear, crit Kokomi is straight up meme. Like you shouldn't do crit Kokomi. Like just focusing into Kokomi's non-crit based damage is better or like equivalent to the highest investment crit Kokomi build. But it's fun to do. I like doing it. So you got enough crit to at least crit sometimes. So, you know, and a good amount of crit damage. Doing an HP circlet, which is interesting. Obviously, Hydra I think would be better, but not insanely. I think she does have some like bonus damage that she gets from HP. So, if I recall, so it's fine. Yeah, I don't know. It seems like a pretty good crit Kokomi build. She's not level 90, but that doesn't really matter. What does matter is if you want to do crit Siege Queen. Why all the emblem builds, man? Is there some freaking YouTuber that's like, oh, if you're doing crit DPS Siege Queen or DPS Siege Queen, you should do emblem? Like, no. Why not do the best? Like, these two are 2 characters in one that take up 2 team slots. Like, Siege Queen makes sense with Furina, and that's why I think it's like you do a Neuvillette style build, and then the ideal I think is something like hybridy, where you do HP, 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 or HP Hydra HP, or HP HP crit, right? Something like that. HP HP crit is probably what most people should do for a hybrid build. I feel like this is like some YouTuber made a guide that was like, if you want to get the most DPS out of Siege Queen, use Emblem or for burst DPS. And like, sure, but you're sacrificing the utility of Siege Queen for normal situations. And when you're pairing it with Furina anyways, like, why not do like that gives a bunch of free crit and that enables you to do it's not that hard to do a hybrid. I don't get it. Like every DPS Siege Queen I've looked at is Emblem. I don't get it. I don't get it. So anyways, it looks fine though for an Emblem build Siege Queen. It's just not what I would use. That's all. I have nothing to say about it other than that. It looks like a pretty good burst DPS focused Siege Queen. One more. Poor Geo guy UID. Maybe. Geo Aether main since I started Genshin. Alright, nope, sorry, this is the last one. No, we can't not do the Geo Aether main. No, stop scrolling. We can't not do the Geo Aether main. Alright, this is the last one. So you can stop spamming your UID. I'll probably do more streams like this in the future. Probably, so subscribe or whatever if you haven't. What? That did not copy. There we go. Geo Aether main. We can't not look at this. Mist Splitter. Two piece. Is this enough ER? Don't you want to crit? Or don't you want to burst consistent? I mean, I don't know. Maybe... What freaking team do you do for main DPS Geo Aether? I do feel like you want to burst consistently, right? With Geo Aether. They can buff themselves. Like that makes like the crit rate buff from his ult makes this crit rate not seem as cope as it is. Like it's more like 71% crit rate with his ult up. So that's my only real question in here is like, yeah, these are cracked. This is ridiculous. I love it. Yeah. Obviously the goblet is a bit relatable, but you know, not how goblets be sometimes. And it's an onset, right? So this is the important thing, the lesson here for anyone. You know, this might seem like a cope goblet, but the value of this goblet is tied to the value of the best off piece you can pair with an onset goblet. And when you have this ridiculous of an off piece, well, actually, they don't even. It's not that ridiculous. This piece looks better than it is actually, but you know, the best pieces that are off pieces for feathers and flowers are pieces like this. But that also have like other good stats along with the crit. But anyways, it's still very good, obviously. So like, anyways, point is like these two things are a combo, right? This could not be used without this. So it's kind of like that this goblet shares stats with this, right? So it's more like the value of this the value of the onset goblet is tied to, you know, if you like merge the stats of the goblet that's onset and the off piece together. That's like the value of doing like an onset goblet versus a like non-onset goblet that had like higher substat quality, right? So, anywho's, I love it. I love the dedication to Geo MC. It's just just a question of ER. I think if you're bursting consistently, because I do think that's pretty important from what I understand about them. But yeah, I like to see it. I'm here. What do you get? Like, I guess if I was trying to maximize Geo MC damage, like it's Furina, I think it's attack scaling, completely attack scaling. So it's like Furina, Bennett, Xylonin. She doesn't exist yet, to be clear. But like, honestly, that seems kind of fun, right? If Xylonin is doing what she supposedly is gonna do. Dang. Like it's gonna go hard. But yeah, the Furina Bennett combo is like would make this go hard. And you could do Mars to say Hunters, right? You stream every second day or random. I've been trying to stream every other day-ish, so it's not random, it's usually been every other day lately. I don't know if I'm gonna do another one of these streams, but you know. Could Xylonin heal? She's probably not gonna heal, but she's gonna be an Omega buffer potentially. Like a Kazuha tier buffer, but better in some ways, potentially than Kazuha, worse in other ways, is my suspicion what they're gonna balance her as. Assuming her lead kit includes what is currently in the game data for the 5.0 beta, but that might not actually be the case. We won't know for a little while. Yeah, there's a reason they're calling her Geo Kazuha, because she's giving Kazuha tier buffs. Notably, she's not doing the grouping that Kazuha does, and we don't know how her damage contribution looks like. Like, Kazuha has very meaningful damage contribution with his swirls. I suspect they'll make her have decent damage contribution, but it might be damage contribution that requires field time, and that could be a downside of its own, right? So, I don't know. I really think we could use... The more options we have for things, like Kazuha alternatives, the less need, we all have to need Kazuha for different teams. And, like, a Geo unit for doing something like Geo MC maximized damage that supports, like, I don't know, it could be really great, right? So, yeah, not doing any more reviews, guys, sorry. You can subscribe, whatever, for future thing, or join my Discord server if you need help or want anyone to look at your specific builds. I gotta go play Elden Ring. I set a cutoff of 3 hours, and I'm at 3 hours and 10 minutes, so... News. Kazuha's still the most comfortable swirler. I mean, yeah, Xylonin is not going to be a swirler. Xylonin is going to be a Geo unit. So, we'll see what she ends up being. I'm just really... She's the character I'm looking forward to most since that leak of her info in the game data. But what Elden Ring build are you running? A dodgy, mostly Unga Bunga build with like 3 different weapons. So, swapping to a few different things. One of the new weapons from the DLC. Anywho's, my friend's been waiting. See you guys. It was fun. I don't think she's gonna add swirls, but yeah, she might be really good with Ito.